This is the thing that we're supposed to. How much of this stuff do we fill out?
Just fill out as much as you can.
And is this part of it too?
Yeah, I think, did that come with this?
No, all of this crap.
All of it came together.
Now I'm looking at it thinking, holy crap.
Yeah, fill out as much as you can on your patient contacts. Let's at least get one or two of those filled out for me, and but this sheet is the most important one for you to sign.
You have them sign it.
Yeah, your
Preceptor.
preceptor.
Okay.
It's a new sheet. They should have told me that they changed their sheets. But what I was getting ready to tell you guys on Thursday was that they made a lot of decisions without me, which really irritated me because I was one of their main instructors up until a point that Elk City had to go through a technology center. They couldn't do the classes anymore. State wasn't letting them do their classes anymore. And I had gone, I don't know, 8 months, 9 months without doing a class. And I before this class, I called up or they called me as a different thing. I don't remember what was going over. And I said, oh, by the way, I'm going to do a class, and I'm looking to start a class in February. I said, so you're going to see some paperwork coming in from me. And they're like, okay. Well, so then she calls back. She said, Rob, I just want to let you know that it's now a prerequisite to do the EMR before you do the EMT. So what? Anyway, long story short, Elk City, when they got involved, they decided they wanted to do this bridge program with less teaching on their part. So basically what they do is they teach the EMR, which is 56 hours. You then have to go do the bridge section, which is all these My Brady Lab. You have to go do all that, and then you come back and they do like 100 hours of teaching. So it's significantly less on their part. And but you have to pass the EMR to go on to the next section. It's like two different sections, and they get to charge you for the EMR class, and they get to charge you for the EMT class. And I told her, I said, I don't agree with this. That's stupid. Blah, blah, blah. I said, who made this decision? Well, we developed a committee. I said, committee? I said, who's on this committee, and why wasn't I involved? Well, it's so-and-so, so-and-so, and so-and-so. And I said, those are all city fire department guys. I said, so what you're telling me is Elk City Fire Department come in, had to use you guys to go through it. Now you guys are doing everything they want. Well, okay. And so anyway, I called the state. And I said, hey, is there another way I can do it? This class almost was ran through Southwestern. And so anyway, so Southwestern agreed to let me do it. And I called, next time Carol called, she probably told me, I said, listen, I said, it's either going to be just a straight EMT class. I said, well, I'm going to teach it through Southwestern. And we got in not a big argument. I just let her know how I felt about it. And she let me know that I could just come to this committee meeting and tell them all my little thoughts. And I said, yeah, I will, Number one, she never set up a committee meeting. I just went down there to the fire department and talked to all the committee members anyway. This stupid thing I never heard of. And I said, so you're telling me I can't do a straight basic class? Well, I don't know. Aren't you the committee? That's what Western Tech's saying, is that you guys, the committee, made this rule. I said, aren't you on the committee? Well, yeah. I said, so I can't do a straight basic class? Well, I don't know. What do you mean you don't know? And so anyway, one day I was talking to Danny Britton, which is Elk City. And I said, hey, Danny, well, I got you on the phone. That's processing my SIM groceries. Go ahead and get on the phone, and I just started chewing on his ear because the rub will get sick. It's okay. Yeah. And so after I got the phone, Danny, he called the head guy from Western Tech, and they had an emergency meeting with him, Carol, and the main guy. Danny, the Carol, and the main guy. And I told Danny, I said, Danny, you don't get it fixed. I'm going to start teaching all my classes through Southwestern. I send a lot of rosters to Western Tech through EMT, through my TIMS and EVOC, and then all my CPR classes, because I teach all the Southwestern pharmacy students.
I'm going to interrupt you. You asked me about the CPR card, and I just forgot to look. They haven't been delivering on mail down on road because they're repaving it.
Oh.
So the mail carrier, yeah, he just called me yesterday, because I was like, why am I not getting the mail? I was like, don't give me, I don't have a bill, because that's all I get is bills.
Yeah.
So I think all our mail with the cleaners, I have to look.
Oh, okay.
So
Okay.
the CPR part, it may be here.
Okay. Yeah. When she sent me an email, she said she sent his. So I asked her to send it right away because we needed it for a job, and she sent me an email saying that I should be getting on. She sent mine out, I think Thursday, but that she sent his out a long time ago.
Okay, well, I haven't had any mail on mine for over a week, so, okay, you can.
And so anyway, the head guy from from Western Tech said, yeah, we can't lose instructors. If this is how you want to do it, this is how we need to happen. And so that's why you guys are able to have a class. But you are, and that's why it's funny that Kyle over there goes, I didn't know there's another class on. You know, you guys think you guys the only one that do the class. You know, just it really sat with me wrong because all the other instructors that aren't associated with Elk City Fire Department are the ones that have been keeping Western Texas EMS program afloat. And now all of a sudden, yes, I agree, Elk City does more classes because they run concurrent classes all the time. They also have 3 different instructors. Now, if I take all the instructors to the independent EMS services around here and did the same thing, because you know I'm doing leading, I'm doing us, and I work for Health American, not anymore, and put us all together, we actually run more classes than Elk City. It should be an equal representation of Elk City Fire Department and the other people, and I think it's stupid to make it a requirement. It's a great option. You got some guys that you want to get to be able to drive an ambulance, and you're a fire department and you need a first responder, and that's a great option. You know, it is. But it's not. It shouldn't be the only option. I don't think any of you would want to do the EMR. Here's the problem I have with it. EMR is a different train of thought than EMT. With EMT, you guys are making a critical decision, or there's a critical decision point. Do we stay here and do we treat the patient, or do we just get them in an ambulance and go? You don't have that critical decision point, and so you don't teach that way for the EMR. EMR is, we're preparing this patient for the ambulance's arrival. So at no point in time am I teaching you to decide how critical this patient is. You got to sit and wait. So they've made the EMR so hard. Your anatomy and physiology and your blood flow, the heart, they go through all that same stuff. And it's stupid because all the EMR is AHA's, it should just be AHA's first aid, because all you're doing is you're stabilizing the patient through CPR, through bandaging and stopping the bleeding, through immobilization, maybe defibrillation with the AED. You're doing that until the ambulance gets there. At that point in time, you're turning the patient over to the EMT. You're not transporting. You're not doing any of these things. So I agree with teaching shock management, bandaging, and CPR, maybe some EpiPens and little things like that. But to the extent that they do it, the EMR book is as big as my EMT book was. Your guys' basic book is the size of my paramedic book. So now, shortly after I left, they went to a series. And you look over here, and there's these different volumes. Somebody bought it. There's like a freaking 10-book, 12-book series for the paramedic, and it's huge. Anyway, so you guys don't have any questions? No? I don't know really. Why I went off on a tangent.
Yeah. No. We're not going to do anything fun until we get done with these chapters. I learned in a different way. I can read a book all day and not do crap without it. But when you show me something, when you do something, that's how I learn.
You can't call me, Serena. You gotta let me know you want to leave. Decline. I don't like you. Where's she calling from? Call her. Let her get on here. So, the EMT curriculum set well with me because I'm the same way. Do a lot better whenever you do the hands-on stuff. That was what I thought was fun about the course. The instructor I had her set up a lot better than I do. I try to do it, but I start feeling the pressure whenever we get a few weeks in and all of a sudden, hey, you need to. I'm gonna mute you. Okay. So I start feeling the pressure. If I hear that whenever we get a few weeks in and all of a sudden I feel like we're getting too close to the end and we haven't gone over enough labs yet, so you guys really need to do this. Our teacher didn't train us for the National Registry skill station. She gave us a sheet and said you got to know these. So where I want to take the last month with you guys and have you guys learning the National Register skill check. She didn't do it. That was on her own time. She did other things. We'd come in and we'd learn, we did a whole lab on tags all that. I mean, waste of time. At the time, it was fun because you have to jack around with your friends. We had a Saturday where we went and actually educated people and learned how to do education. That was really cool. I wish I could get something like that for even for my people, because she'd set up situations and we would she'd make us run them. And so like one of them was they had a guy and they put a log on his leg and he was cutting trees in the log, and so we had to figure out how to get that log off his leg. And another one was somebody fell down into a well and how do you get him out of the well? And I was this person down they actually put us down in a well. Yeah, and so what they did is they came down and put us in the bed, and they used the fire department with ropes and pulled me out. We had a day where, I don't.
I'm not going down in the well unless I actually really fall in it. But,
They had a car there that they showed us cutting up the car, and then she had a day where she made us work on an ambulance, and it was besides our clinical time, but she'd set up patients in this little town, and we get called to the house, and we'd actually have to go to the house and run the call and call in a radio report and stuff. And it was a good learning experience, but it was very time consuming, and so we didn't do the skills check, which I always did a skills check because I feel like the skills check is important for a couple reasons. One, the test is different than when I did it. Now you guys have to know the skill checks for your National Registry test. And then the other side of it is you have to pass those skill stations to doing the all tests. Anyway, so we will be doing the more fun stuff coming up in the C-collar spine boards and all that. So for anybody out there in Radio Land, we will be starting labs Tuesday. I don't even know where my friend Emilio is. I invited that guy twice. Do what? I know. All right, share my screen. We'll get started. And I think, what the heck? Not doing what I want to go away from me. Which one? Which options do you have? No. What? The Netgear 40, that one. 5G. This is either one of those. EMS RMMH 3336. Oh yeah, I gotta turn this on for you guys. Let's get to do this. I'm really not actually worried about you guys. I feel like this is end up testing, which are the ones here, Amelia, Rebecca. I feel like you guys will be fine. do the practice test, and I know your sheet. I think that's fine. You guys seem to be.
Oh, well, I know sheets easier when we start going over this stuff.
Oh yeah. And I'm going to tell you, whenever you do start it, don't just do it here. So when you go home, make your kid lay down and make another kid grade you, or make your husband grade you, or do an assessment on your husband. The patient assessments, there's a medical and trauma patient assessment, are going to be by far the hardest stations you have, by far. The other ones are simple.
When we do our skills thing, how many stations are we gonna have to go through? Like,
I think it's 5, but I don't remember. Yeah, it's trauma patient, medical patient. I want to say airway management with bag valve mask, CPR management with AED, and maybe a bleeding and shock. I don't remember. I'll figure it out here next. Probably on Tuesday right before class. I'll be Googling it. Just to be honest with you. But it won't be bad. Like I said, the worst part of it will be your trauma and medical patient assessment. Concentrate on getting one of them down, your medical or your trauma, whichever. Once you have it down, learn the differences in the other, and then study the other. Once you have one of them down, they're both almost exactly the same up to a certain point, and then it's very, very similar after that even. And so learn one of them. Don't confuse yourself by trying to figure out both of them at the same time. And we'll talk more about that whenever we get there. Let's get through these. Is operations a very long chapter? It shouldn't be, because we already done some operations. Whenever I went through it, operations, all your radio communication and what the radios were and stuff like that was all listed under operations. I thought, didn't we already do all that stuff? Okay. So I don't know why they broke it out into two different, because they could have put the communications right in here with operations. Operations is the chapter that everybody usually scores very high on. I'm not saying don't study it, but it is one that it's simple. The information in here is not that hard, not that difficult. Everybody typically does fairly well in operations. OB is the one that everybody typically fails. So OB or cardiac. And when I say OB, it's OBGYN. So and the women always like, oh, I know about OBGYN, and so they don't do well at it, and the men are like, I don't even want to know about OBGYN, so they don't do very well at it. And so it's kind of one of those things that is the hardest. I would say next is cardiac. That a lot of people fail. You start to deal with airway, breathing, circulation, and the cardiovascular, and for some reason people fail that. So I don't know. I think that's probably one of the not easier chapters, but it's one of the most pertinent chapters. Operations, blah, 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 blah. Preparing the ambulance, preparing for the ambulance call. Pretty sweet looking ambulance there in Texas. Old Dodge. At one time, all you ever seen was Fords on the road. Now all of a sudden you have, now you have Dodge, Ford, and Chevrolet. You might be a Chevy fan. That's cool. Don't ever buy a freaking Chevy ambulance. They're piles of shit. I'll just put it like that. I have nothing but problems with my Chevy. I have 2 of them. And why somebody bought 2 Chevrolet ambulances is beyond me. Fords, by far, you'll have problems, but by far the most stable ambulances there are. This is a Type 1 ambulance. A Type 1 ambulance simply is a truck chassis with a box on it. So that is a Type 1. Here's a Type 2. Is your van type ambulances, which you're not. Everybody knows that around here, something that everybody can relate to is the Signer units. Those little van units. Those are Econoline vans from Ford. I like them. Everyone's like, oh, they're so small, or this or that. The thing that I liked about the van unit, and I worked in one for a year at Topeka at AMR, and I came from Sedgwick County as a student, where I just got done riding 4 months in a big and in Sedgwick County's ambulances. They're kind of like Roger Mills. They keep their ambulances up, and not kind of. They actually have their own ambulance mechanic. They have like one of the only 3 true ambulance mechanics in the nation. So they keep their ambulances up. Here we have these big ambulances. Well, there's a lot of road noise in the back. I mean, basically, if you think about riding in the back of a pickup truck with a camper on shell on, that's what you're in on an ambulance. You have some pretty shells and things like that, but no, I like the Type 2s because all of a sudden you have this insulated, enclosed thing where I could actually hear my patient. So it was amazing what I could hear. Yeah, I didn't have a lot of room. I'm not a big guy, so that wasn't that big of a deal for me. Now some of these guys that are my size and very large, or you get some of those 6'4" guys that are pretty good sized guys, they didn't like them very much, and I can understand that. But I liked it because everything was close. If I wanted something at the cabinet, I just went like this, got it out, and I'm right there. It worked for me, and I could hear. But most people don't like them. Either perception, like here at Roger Mills, if I tried to go back to van units, they'd probably throw a fit because they're used to having a 6-foot ceiling in their ambulance now. You could walk all the way around, and you could probably dance in it if you wanted to. And so we could fit plenty of people in the back. This is a Type 3. Type 3 is you're still your Econoline type van unit, but with a box on it. So Type 2 is just a van. Type 3 is a van with a box. You're not going to see a lot of Type 3s anymore. Almost everybody has done away with their this type of chassis. So Ford now has more of the Sprinter vans. They don't even have the Econoline series anymore. And so you're going to see these kind of guys kind of die off unless somebody comes out with something. Advantage to these, so an advantage to these over the Type 1s or the truck chassis is these you have a full walkthrough. So I could just skim up and talk to my driver, and then I could go back. They have a full walkthrough. With your Type 1s, we have a full walkthrough in ours, but that is a special order thing. I said I want a full walkthrough, and it's not quite the walkthrough that a van is, and so it's just more of a flowing unit than a Type 1. So here's a medium duty. You'll see this is like fire departments. And look, it even says fire department right there. Fire departments are kind of like the overcompensating the service for all these services. They always have to have the bigger thing. Oh, this will do, but why have this when we could buy this? Cool thing about this, you have that rare multi-crash or multi-patient crash or multi-patient incident. These actually have where you could load a patient in this way and come over to the other side, and you could load another cot in this way. And so you could comfortably or without moving them over onto a bench seat or whatever, which you could do that in there. So you could have 3 patients, 2 on a cot, 1 on a bench seat. Comfortably load up 2 patients on this ambulance. Other than that, they're a piece of shit. They're loud. They have to wear headsets in there so they could hear. It's like a big semi truck. I think fire departments are still exempt from having to have CDLs to drive these, but these trucks have air brakes. So
it's not a 2-ton. It's heavier than a 2-ton.
Oh yeah, that's a semi truck chassis. So I think
2 tons are
the 2 tons, what, 4,500, something like that. These are typically Fraser or Freightliners, and I think that's what this one is right here. Is a Freightliner truck. Do the two tons have air brakes on them?
No, because you don't have that CDL to drive them.
Okay, yeah, these trucks, these ambulances, these medium duty, if they weren't operating for a fire department, you'd have to have a CDL to operate them.
What's the price of them?
I
I mean,
think they're quite expensive. I've ridden in one, assisting another service. So I don't even remember how I got stuck on the damn ambulance. But it's me and Ray Simpson, and Ray Simpson. He's infamous in EMS. Everybody in the state knows him. He's one of these guys that he's made a lot of friends and then turned them to enemies type guy. But anyway, I was helping him out one day. And I rode in with him, and they had one of these at, not Yukon. What's the town before Yukon? El Reno. They had one of these in El Reno. So anyway, ambulance supplies and equipment. An ambulance without proper equipment may have its agency cited and fined a considerable amount of money by a state EMS regulatory agency. Learn where each item is, what it is for, and when it should be used. Okay, listen up. If you guys work for this service, this is an expectation I have because you guys won't be with me very long. I'm a short timer now. But you need to learn where everything is on that ambulance and what the ambulance should have on it. That's been lately has been one of my biggest problems with my staff. Is them not knowing where things are located. And so I developed an ambulance check, which has every single item that ambulance should have on it and the number of items that it should have on it. All they have to do is go through, and it even has the location that it should be in. All they have to do is go in and check it. They're too damn lazy to do it. They come in, they spend 30 minutes checking their truck out, which I know that they don't go through the whole thing in 30 minutes, and then they go. And then they run a call, and then they complain to me that we didn't have any such and such in the ambulance. Like, oh, really? And so then I go and show them where such and such was. And I said, and that is why you need to check your ambulance out, and you need to learn where everything is. Oh, I didn't know it was there. Of course you didn't, because you don't check the ambulance out. It really irks me. Now, I have some people that are really good about it, but they come from other services. So it's the people that work for Elk City Fire Department where that's what you did before you ran. Let me put it this way. If that ambulance leaves and you're on it and what you need is not on that ambulance, that's not on the previous crew. That's not on your director. That's not on the supply people. That's on you. You didn't check your ambulance out, all right? I gave you the tools to check the ambulance out. You need to use them. All right. So step.
Passion you see out of this guy.
Well, it just goes all over me because I have some that just refuse and complain. I got a complainer that sits right in here in this office with me every day. So she don't understand why my check.
Yeah, but I would feel bad if you got out there and you didn't have a meeting this person. You could have saved this person, but now it's gonna die.
EMS is one of those things. You will run into where you need something and it's not there. It's just not.
Well, but I mean, if it was something you could
We
control.
Yeah, we improvise a lot, and that's okay. But you should know where your equipment's at. And at one time I understood they weren't paid to be here. The volunteers, they're paid to be here. I pay them to come in.
I just want to know why the vomit bags is at the patient's feet.
Why are the vomit bags at the patient's feet? Because that is, in all reality, that's probably one of the best places for them. Because if you go up here to airway stuff,
Yeah.
which is important for it to be right there, and that's where the room is, you put it in there, it gets lost. If you know that where it is right there, it's actually very easy to just stand up, open that cabinet, and hand it over to them. Now, this ambulance is a behemoth, and so you start looking at things a little differently, and it's like, well, hell, why is the vomit bag all the way down here at the patient's feet? Well,
I was thinking, lean over the patient's gonna puke on you.
now a lot of people, what they'll do, and I have no problem with this, is they'll take a vomit bag and they'll lay it in the action area, so it's right there. Or they'll hang. We have the ones that had the clip on it. They'll hang it from like the auction tree, so it is right there. That's fine. I am completely okay with doing things like that. But what I'm not okay with is taking all my vomit bags from the patient's feed area and moving them up to the airway area without talking to me. Because now what you've done is, whenever I came here, I standardized all my ambulances because they were a mess. I'll just put it that way. And so now they're all here. Now we all learn they're here, but you like them up here. You move them up here. When I have a patient that's getting ready to throw up and I go down there and there's no vomit bag, I'm gonna be a little mad.
It's the same in the ER.
Yeah.
Every freaking new nurse thinks that they know exactly what it's supposed to do. So you go to it and you're like, oh, I got this new nurse, and where would she put that? Crap. No, don't do that.
You don't do that. Don't move people's stuff around. Now I told them I'm not the all end all be all. If it's a better place, and we as a collective group think it's a better place, we'll put it there. Just like my numbers on my stuff. If you think you need 5 non-rebreather masks, which the state says you only need 3, and gosh dang, if I run more than 3, I'm done for the day. If you like more than 3, talk to us. Let's adjust the numbers and make it 5 or 10 or whatever. But don't just add 10. And so, anyway.
Your people was talking about air pressure in the tires yesterday. So we worry about air pressure in the tires each shift.
Yes, we do.
What do they run?
70.
I was gonna say 70 pounds is not hard to pick up.
Yeah.
I was kind of shocked that like sitting there talking about the air pressure. I'm thinking, wow.
This chapter you haven't read yet, it tells you that you need to do that.
Yeah, but they're actually doing it. They're actually doing it.
They-
They're actually discussing.
They are very good about doing a basic ambulance check, checking the fluids.
You can tell if you drive a pickup, you can tell when your tires are low. You're like, well,
Yeah.
we're a little wobbly, or it can just be a little bit. It's like my dually out there. The front end blocks, or
They do very well at that, but it's whenever it's go through and the monotonous checking each cabinet, each item. I think there's over 300 or so items on that or more on that ambulance. And so that gets very monotonous, especially whenever you get somebody that just sits here on their ass and doesn't help you, and they're on shift with you and they don't help you check. And I keep pointing to this desk right over here. It says right there. If somebody helps you, it goes pretty quick. You read it off the computer, and guys, it's simple. It's 2 guesses. Is the item there? Does the item is the item expiration date greater than 30 days? If it expires within 30 days, I want to know. Is it not? Is the item number of items there not there? I want to know. Yes, please restock it or whatever, but we need to know that so that we could get the stuff ordered or whatever. So if you have 2 people doing it, you can get it done within 45 minutes because it's pretty quick. It's too. You don't even have to scroll. You touch the screen. I mean, it's that freaking easy. That's why it drives me insane. So please learn where each item is, what it is for, and when it should be used. Okay. I kind of talked to you guys a little bit about it. Don't limit yourself to only knowing basic equipment. You also need to know advanced level equipment. You need to know where the chest decompression needles are. You need to know the surgical crite kit is. You know where the ET tubes and airway kits are. You know where the IV supplies are. Why? Because whenever we have a really bad patient that we're fighting to keep alive, and I tell you, hey, can you grab me this because I'm doing something else? I don't want you to sit there and look at me like you have like deer in a headlight. Ooh. If you're new, I'll let you pass on it. But if you've been with me for a while, I'm going to be a little pissed off at you. And what worth are you if you only know where the basic equipment is? Yes, you can't use a surgical airway kit, but gosh, you could at least know where it is so you can hand it to me. So anyway, I have one, it says in that office over there, that refuses to learn anything but basic level equipment. Well, I'm just a basic. That's great, and you're a worthless team member. So anyway, check the interior surfaces and upholstery. She's actually a very good team member because she helps me out a lot. She's just my double-edged sword. She also cuts me a lot.
Yeah.
So anyway, you typically underneath your bench seat you have extra sheets. Some services keep their auction under there. We used to carry body bags. That's where the body bags would be. We don't carry them anymore, and Dustin kind of found out why. He went on a fatality accident, and he said, "You want me to cover him up?" And highway patrolman's like, "Yeah, go ahead and cover him up." And so, meaning two different things. The highway patrolman thought throw a sheet over him, and Dustin thought put him in a body bag. So Dustin goes, gets the body bag, and starts putting him in the body. Oh my God, they had to come apart. Oh, you're messing with our crime scene, blah, blah, blah. You know, their investigation and this and that's like, sorry. So he learned that don't move them. Once we say they're dead, don't move them. So don't put them in body bags. Ensuring ambulance readiness for service. Make sure vehicle and equipment are ready for use at the beginning of every shift. The state's requirement for Oklahoma is after every call or at the beginning of every shift, whichever is less. So if you run one call a month, you only have to do an ambulance check once a month. I didn't like that, so whenever I came, I made it check it every shift. A lot could happen between shifts. Sarah Lamp come in and check her mom's heart rate and use all your EKG electrodes because she thinks that she's part of the service when she wasn't at the time. And you didn't check your ambulance because you didn't even think about it because you hadn't run a call yet. And then you go and run a cardiac patient and you don't have any electrodes. Didn't happen that way, but she did come in and check her mom and use my electrodes. And she wasn't even really part of her service at the time. I was like, huh, that's odd. So she had worked for us for a little bit. She hadn't been here for over a year. So. Check ambulance body, wheels, tires, and windshield wipers. Inside dual is important to check. It goes down all the time, and people miss it. Well, what ends up happening with that inside dual is it goes down, then you end up tearing it up, and it tears up your other tire. So be careful with your inside
You'll
dual.
notice it though, if your outside tire is taking all the weight, you'll notice it.
So Shay thinks you'll notice it. I've driven ambulances without it. So you gotta understand, you're driving your pickup every day. You might drive.
I don't drive it every day anymore, but I used to.
You might drive an ambulance once a week. So you're like, oh, this is not really how I remember, but oh well, wrong. So, ambulance.
That didn't have or is it not new enough to have your tire gauge things?
What's that?
Is it not new enough on the inside of the gauges?
You know, that one might be. You're talking about your TPS
Where it
sensor.
tells you your crap's not right?
It might be. I don't know. We still have to check it.
No.
So, ambulance inspection, engine off. Inspect the body of the vehicle. Report any damage that may be evident. Oh my God, EMTs are the absolute best at tearing things up, hitting things. Come here, like, how did this happen? Oh, we hit the awning at the hospital. Did what? Don't you know this thing is like super tall? Think about these things. I thought I could make it. Think you might want to look first. I don't get it. If they treated their things at home like they treated things here, they wouldn't have anything. It'd all be junk. So anyway,
My husband's like that. He tears up more
I don't want to
crap.
drive.
what's that?
I said, I don't want to drive, so.
Vera hit an airplane. I mean, how do you
Get
hit
an airplane. What the heck?
They're dropping a patient off, and she comes around and cuts too sharp
Hit the wing.
at the tail section and hit the elevator on that rear tail section. They try to charge us $300 and some $1,000 for that. Try to bill our insurance. Insurance says no. The repairs cost you $3,000. We'll pay $3,000. They're trying to pay us for missed flights and ferry time. So they had to ferry the aircraft elsewhere. It's still flyable. Had to ferry the aircraft elsewhere and fix it. And then they try to charge us for missed flights. Well, they didn't miss any flights. Every freaking air service out there has a backup airplane. I'm sorry, they do. If they don't, they shouldn't be in the business. And they tried to charge us for that, and the insurance company's like, and I was like, yeah, that's kind of bullshit. I won't use it. It was a Midwest Life Team out of Kansas. I won't use them. Midwest Life Team's coming up, cancel them. Try to screw another EMS service that's giving you a $48,000 flight. Yeah. So anyway.
Yeah.
Check the wheels and tires. Check for damage or worn wheel, rims and tire sidewalls. Check tread depth. Use a pressure gauge. This is actually important. Believe it or not, some of these ambulances are junk. That ambulance that sits over there, Unit 22, we put new tires on it, and it would eat the inside. I mean, it would just eat it because it wasn't aligned or whatever after they mounted that heavy box. And so I took it to a place. I said I needed to align and new tires. Well, I put the new tires on it, but I guess they didn't align it. And they didn't tell us.
Then you ate your tires up.
Ate my tires up. Less than 6 months, I ate a brand new set of tires up. And so, you just look at them from the outside. They look great, brand new. And one of the medics going through their check looked on the inside. He said, "Hey, Rob, come here." And I looked at it. We're down to the freaking cords on the inside.
I did a good ambulance outside transition because I'm used to that.
So, yeah.
I'm always looking at even on my car. I was walking by and
So,
just looking at pickups and trailers and stuff all the time.
so I took it back to said place, and I said, "Hey, we can't align
What do you
that.
gotta use for
It was-
stuff?
L&R or
Oh.
P&S or Goodyear,
P&S.
whatever. They're in Elk City, big. So
L&R alarms.
a lot of them can't align that ambulance because of the box on it. They can't get it up on their machine. So I ended up taking it to Dodge. Dodge, yeah, we'll do it. Get it out there and like, oh, we didn't know it was a Chevy. Well, I just asked for an alignment. I didn't know you had it.
They can do Chevy.
And so he said, we'll try it, Robin. If you can't get it, we'll call you. I said, cool. And they got it. So I guess they didn't have the right, there's some piece to their machine that they had to get.
That's great. I would
So,
pee on your food on fire.
so do what?
I wouldn't pee on those great food on fire.
So anyway, our tires have actually held up a little bit longer this time. And I
Probably
tell you-
get a little bit slick.
what's that?
I probably get a little slick.
Nah, that's good. It only has 30,000 miles on it. 20,000. 20.
The patient wants the better truck next time.
Oh, did he complain about the 22? Yeah, we took him in 24 when I went because 22 needed an oil change.
He's like, I like the other one better. I said, yep.
Don't we all?
Yeah, 22 needs to go away. Actually, what needs to happen is 22 needs to move to Hammond, that Hammond unit, which is only a 350. What's not F? It's Chevy's. 1,500.
That's only a 3/4 ton. Well,
No, not 1,500. 2,500.
2,500 Dodge is a
It's small.
2,500 is a 3/4 ton, and 3,500 is 1 ton.
So it needs, I think it's 3,500, so it needs to go away. It's too small.
A 1 ton? How much is?
That's an F450.
That's a 2 ton. A 2 ton.
So,
That's for you.
well, I actually need to. I need to tell them the new one. Somebody asked me, they're like, are you guys still buying a new ambulance every year? Like, when do we ever buy a new ambulance every year?
The plan was, the first ambulance was boxed like this, the plan was, we'll keep the engine part forever, or we'll keep the box forever. We'll check it.
So whenever you look into that, the true act of remounting that goes into that, it's the stupidest proposition.
But you couldn't with the different chassis.
No, that's not the problem. The problem is from 2016 to 2017, KKK comes out with new standards, increased safety, what have you. And so whenever you go to put it on a new thing, they have to make that box up to new standards. They can't remount a box that's not within the standards.
grandfathered in. If it
Nope.
was on the ambulance already,
It can be on that ambulance,
Right.
that they can stay together. But once they remove that box from that chassis, it has to be updated. And so what they end up doing on the remount, so this is so stupid, because it costs you just as much money to remount a box as it does to just
to buy one.
to buy one, is they take the box off, they strip everything out of it. They strip all the interior out, all the cabinetry out, they get it back up to standard, they put new cabinetry in it, and then they remount it for you. And so you don't save any money. You talk to manufacturers that won't remount, and you're like, you guys remount? And they're like, no, and this is why. Have they told you that? And you're like, oh, no. And they say it's the stupidest thing ever. You might, if you get lucky, let's say there's not a lot of changes, you might save $5,000 or $10,000. Is it worth keeping an old box that probably the welds are starting to get
Go down
worked
the
on?
country road.
No, just buy a new box or new full ambulance. I probably, you know what, maybe I will talk to them about. The last one we bought, that's a 2013, believe it or not. I mean, our newest ambulance is a 2013. We're a 2017, so what we do is move that one over there, move that one over there, get rid of that one, and get a four-wheel drive one for our first down unit with a smaller. That one's the biggest length you could get. So I need to get through this crap. Quit getting me on tangents. Inspect the windows and mirrors. Look for broken glass and loose or missing parts. See that mirrors are clean and adjusted for maximum visibility. Check the operation of every door and all latches and locks. Check the level of all fluids. Check the battery. Inspect the battery cables, connections for tightness and signs of corrosion. Inspect interior surfaces and upholstery for damage and cleanliness. Wipe down the steering wheel with disinfectant. Guys, we're not mechanics. I don't expect you to be a mechanic. If you come across something that needs attention, don't feel like you need to try to fix it yourself. We'll pay to have it fixed. Now, Dustin Batterton, he thinks he's a mechanic. And he's like, I'll fix that airline. I just need this. Well, you know what, Dustin, go ahead. Yeah. Waste my breath telling no, because then I'm going to have to argue with him about it. So whatever. Ambulance inspection, engine off, check the windows for operation and cleanliness, test the horn, siren, emergency lights, adjust the driver's seat, ensure the seat belts are operational, check the fuel level, refuel after each call whenever practical. Now, here in Cheyenne, you go do a little run from the house to here, there's no point in refueling. You go to Hammond and back, please refuel it. Luckily, this ambulance right here has a big enough gas tank, you can probably do that a few hundred times, not really, but seems like it, and you're fine. The one over at Hammond, you can't go. You have to stop. You go, you pick a patient up at Hammond. You got to stop and get fuel there, and at Love's, and then when you get it's terrible. So
Don't even make a bill.
yeah, it's bad. So ambulance inspection engine off. Here she is checking the fluids. Whoops. What is this? Check the dash-mounted indicators to see if any lights remain on to indicate a possible problem with oil pressure, engine temperature, or the vehicle's electrical system. Check dash-mounted gauges for proper operation. You press the brake pedal, note pedal travel, check air pressure as needed. We don't have air brakes.
Do these have like?
Nope. I don't care. No.
I mean, like, I guess it wouldn't really trigger. I was gonna say, if you like use some sort of like a trailer brake on your, your box part, like it really wouldn't count as medium or a Jake brake.
No.
Slow yourself down.
No. Dodge has that Jake brake or that
Yeah,
engine
yeah.
brake on theirs.
They really help. Well,
Yeah, they
they
do.
have a trailer brakes and Jake brakes now.
The trailer brakes weren't going to help you because you have brakes now.
Yeah.
If you have a little emergency trailer, which they do have that, that
Really?
would. So look, if you're some services will make like an MCI rig, mass casualty incident rig, and they'll have a trailer with extra supplies. And the state did grants for it a while back, and so they ended up putting like a hitch on their ambulance to be able to pull this trailer. If you had that, yeah, the trailer brakes would definitely help you out. Now, as far as the Jake brake, the Ford doesn't have it, but I know I had a Dodge. I want to say it's 2008 or 9 Dodge that I had that had the engine braking on it. I liked it.
They work.
Yeah. Even whenever you had a heavy load in the back of your truck, it helped out.
Now slow you down.
So, test the parking brake, move the transmission level to drive position, replace the level to park position as soon as. Turn the steering wheel from side to side. I have some EMTs it's a really good thing. They'll start it up, they'll pull it out, and they'll do their checkout in the driveway. That does a lot of these tests, right? And something that they always do is they always check their lights. Check the operation of windshield wipers, washers. The glass should be wiped clean. Blades move. Turn on vehicle's warning light. Have your partner walk around the ambulance and check each flashing and revolving light for operation. Turn off warning light. Most of your lights are going to the LED type light. It's okay if a few of the little LED bulbs are burnt out, as long as the light itself is working. Because I had them keep marking 22 because it has a strip of the LED bulb that had went out. Not replacing the entire LED bulb unit because I have a strip of LEDs out. Once the light stops, okay. Turn on the other vehicle lights. Have your partner walk around the ambulance again. This time checking the headlights, high, low, turn signals, four-way flashers, brake lights, side and rear scene illuminator lights, and box marker lights. Check the operation of the heating and air conditioning. Actually, without an air conditioner in the patient compartment, your ambulance needs to be taken out of service. You cannot run an ambulance without an air conditioner. What's that?
22 only has high. It doesn't have any.
But it has a thermostat on it, so you can set it at 78. Operate the communication equipment, test portable and fixed radios, and any radio telephone communications. 24 needs a new radio. It has freaking expensive radio that's never worked right. If your unit is equipped with backup camera, make sure the camera is not damaged and is clean. Ours does. Using your checklist, conduct a detailed inspection and inventory of the equipment and supplies. Check all items for completeness, condition, and operation. My staff needs to be in here for this section. Check treatment supplies, interior equipment, and exterior equipment. Check the pressure of oxygen cylinders. Inflate air splints and examine for leaks. Okay, that's a little excessive. We have backup splinting technique that we can do if our air splints are shit. So, test oxygen and ventilation equipment for proper operation. Examine rescue tools for rust and dirt. Operate battery-powered devices to ensure that batteries have proper charge. Some equipment, such as the AED, may require additional testing. See that an item-by-item inspection of everything carried on the ambulance is done, with findings recorded on the inspection report. Geez, Rob has that. Well, people bitch about it. So. That's what I need to do. I just need to run the operations at the next in-service and say, now, is there any questions why you guys are doing a full check on the ambulance every shift? Complete the inspection report, correct any deficiencies, replace missing items, make sure supervisors are aware of any deficiencies that cannot be immediately corrected. And that's exactly what my policy is. Finally. Clean the unit for infection control and appearance. Use only improved cleaning and disinfecting material. I came from the service. Sedgwick County is where in Topeka, in Sedgwick County, where I really cut my teeth on the EMS world. At Sedgwick County, we had 12-hour shifts. That ambulance was checked and cleaned every 12 hours. And I'm not talking just a quick look over. We went through everything. We pulled out laryngoscopes, checked the bulb. And our final thing was we wiped it down. Why? Well, we didn't want to stick our hands in any of the crap that the previous crew ran. And so, we always clean the unit. And so, it was a really good habit to get into. You get there before you do anything else. We check our ambulance, went through it and everything. Now, if you ran a call obviously you need to clean it after the call, right? That just goes without saying. So think about it as I walk around the vehicle, engine on and engine off check. What information do I get from what I hear, see, and smell? Receiving and responding to a call. So, role of emergency medical dispatcher, we don't have EMDs here, but ask questions of caller and assign priorities of call. So they're going to get all the information and they're going to say that this is an emergency call, not an emergency call. Provide pre-arrival medical instructions. So they're to callers and information groups. So they're going to, let's say, use the most extreme example here, they're in cardiac arrest. They're going to give pre-arrivals. Okay, what you need to do is you need to make sure they're on their back on a hard service, and you're going to do you know how to do CPR? No. Okay, what you're going to do is you're going to place your hands on their sternum and you're going to compress. And they're going to walk them through how to do compressions over the phone. They actually do a pretty damn good job, some of them, because I've gone to some houses where people are doing CPR and they're doing very good CPR because the EMD told them how to do it. Now I had one time where the guy died in the middle of the night on his side and he was riggered. And dispatch was trying to give him pre-arrivals to do compressions, and we get there and she's trying to get him, in a position to do CPR, and he's like this. And she's like, I tried to do CPR, but his hands were just, he's just stuck like this. And okay, man, I'm, sorry. You don't need to try anymore. I felt bad for her because, and I told her, I was like, there's nothing we can do. Just, oh, bless his heart. But here they've been married for 60 years or something like that. And I was like, this is terrible, So then dispatch and coordinate EMS resources, coordinate with other public safety agencies. So they're the one, and this happens here to a certain extent. You need more resources. You let them know. They arrange it. You don't have to get on the radio and say, Elk City, are you available to assist us with NBC? Will we have multiple patients? No? Okay. Hey, sir. No, they do that. You let them know, hey, Cheyenne, can you get Elk City, an Elk City unit on its way? And can you get me 30 aircraft? And they'll do that. So role of emergency medical dispatcher questions. What is the exact location of the patient? What is your callback number? What is the problem? How old is the patient? What's the patient's sex? Is the patient conscious? Is the patient breathing? Now, you guys won't always get this information. I'm sorry, but you don't. Sometimes you're lucky that you even get a freaking ambulance.
Not a good one.
What's that?
Not always a good one.
Yeah. Well, and it's like, this is so-and-so's residence. Like, I don't even know where so-and-so lives. Being a safe ambulance operator. Be physically and mentally fit. This is where they really get into the trying to live stress-free, trying to be healthy. It's very hard. It's almost comical to me that they have this because it's very hard for career medics to abide by this. Good luck getting a good meal on duty. All right. Most time you're lucky you can get your Subway sandwich in time, but and then the stress. Yeah, okay. So be able to perform under stress, have positive attitude about your ability to as a driver, but not be an overly confident risk taker. One thing that is always a red alarm or red flag for me is whenever I have a brand new person come in and they know it all and can do it all. Scares me, no end. I'm like, yeah, okay. You're dangerous at that point. Be tolerant of other drivers. Never drive while under the influence of any substances. Never drive while taking prescription medications that impair your ability to operate a motor vehicle. Never drive with a restricted license. Always wear your glasses or contact lenses if required for driving. Evaluate your ability to drive based on personal stress, illness, and fatigue. That's another one. Haha, funny. AMR had 24-hour shifts. Do you think they're going to let us say, yeah, we're too tired at 3 o'clock in the morning? No. I'm taking a patient to freaking Topeka VA to Kansas City VA at 3 o'clock in the morning. They're a psych patient that had to go 24 hours. Observation. Blah, blah, blah. You get there. I mean, they have to go. They have to be supervised. You get there and they're outside smoking by themselves. We got to do this at 3 o'clock in the morning? So So that's after running all day long. But I had a guy I worked with that ended up, after I left, got fired from AMR there in Topeka because they were going back to base after their shift, and he fell asleep at the stoplight and ended up getting in a crash for falling asleep. And they fired him. And, you know, it's like, you guys need to rethink your whole, you guys are way too busy to be 24-hour shift, number one. And so I think they did adjust their shifts after that because they got in trouble as well. So, understanding the law, an ambulance operator must have a valid driver's license and may be required to complete a training program. You are required to have EVOC in the state of Oklahoma every 2 years. Emergency vehicle operator, of course, I think everybody in here was there. You have 6 months to get it after you're hired. After that, if you don't have it, you're not supposed to work on my ambulance. And so people think I was being a dick on Thursday when I said, that's fine if you don't come, but you have to have it by July or I'm not putting you on my schedule. Why? Because I don't want us to get in trouble here at this service because you had more important things to do that day than come to the EVOC class. That's fine if there are more important things to do, but you now need to find your own EVOC course. And so some of them went ahead and forego their more important things, which I'm glad they did. Because initially I was only had about 3 or 4 of my staff here, and I said, that's fine. 3 or 4 of my people will get all the hours in July. And all of a sudden, I had a whole bunch of people. Privileges granted under the law to the operator of ambulances apply when the vehicle is responding to an emergency call. Not applicable if not on a call. What does that mean? Understanding the law. Even though certain privileges are granted during an emergency, the exemptions granted do not provide immunity to the driver. Oh, that was kind of my key statement the other night in EVOC course, right? If you cause an accident driving fast, going through an intersection, you are going to be responsible for it. Privileges granted during the emergency situation apply only if the operator uses warning devices in the manner prescribed by law. I will tell you that basically you're still going to be in trouble. And understand the law. Most statutes allow parking wherever necessary as long as life and property are not endangered. Proceeding. So let me give you an example of how this whole law thing works. Parking wherever necessary as long as life and property are not endangered. You look around, you think, hey, great place for me to park right here. Not really a parking place, but okay, you know, we're close. Most situations you're fine. But some asshole comes driving 110 miles an hour and hits your ambulance because it shouldn't be there and they die. Guess who's at fault at that? Because now all of a sudden life and property are in danger. Even though you didn't think they were when you parked there because any rational person would have seen the ambulance there. Well, this guy just made it so that it didn't because now he died. So life and property is obviously in danger. And so you got to be careful with that. Now it's a risk that we take out here in Western Oklahoma. We are very fortunate. Small communities aren't too happy communities. You guys don't live in Oklahoma City where somebody's looking for the next lawsuit. So I've actually worked in services where I have ran where people were looking for the next lawsuit. Probably, yeah.
We might get sued over running over the daisies.
You might have,
than getting run over.
you might have to go plant her new daisies.
You're probably gonna have to redo the flyer.
Something. Those daisies are not be there.
Yeah. I actually had a very low speed, under 5 mile an hour accident in a parking lot where I had to actually take the lady out of her car. And you could tell what type of person she was. Oh, my neck! Oh, my neck! Oh, my neck! Right. Man, you do realize that this was under 5 miles an hour. You didn't feel anything. You realize this, right? I mean, 5 miles an hour. Oh, my neck! You know, it just hurts so bad. I'm sure it does. I'm not getting sued. C-collar, spine board, CAD, the whole 9 yards, IVs, monitor.
She's got everything.
Yeah, everything. I'm not getting sued. I'm not part of this. I know where this is going. So, proceeding past stop signs and signals, once again, be very cautious of this. Exceeding the posted speed limit as long as life and property are not endangered. Once again, you cause an accident going greater than the speed limit and somebody dies, you will be at fault because now life and property were in danger, right? Passing other vehicles, it's kind of like the whole, they can't give you a ticket of driving, you're driving too fast for the conditions. They can't give you a ticket for that until you have an accident. Well, then you're obviously driving too fast for the conditions. So, passing other vehicles in no passing zones after proper signaling and taking precautions. Be very careful of this out here on our highways. You'd be amazed how all of a sudden a car pops up out of what seems like a straight area of road. There's a reason that's a no passing zone. Most statutes allow disregard for regulations that govern direction of travel and turning in specific directions with proper caution and signals. Be very careful with it. Laws interrupted by the court based on, interpreted by the court based on using due regard for safety of others. And whether to the best of your knowledge, a situation was a true emergency. That due regard thing will get you. Using warning devices, the siren, never use it indiscriminately. The horn, visual warning devices, day or night. Vehicle should be easily seen from 360 degrees in emergency response mode. Speed and safety, so we have lights all the way around there. Excessive speed increases the probability of a collision. Speed increases stopping distance, reduces the chance of avoiding a hazardous situation. Guys, there really is no reason to be at the government. Something I've been forgetting to do in my EVOT classes. So, little driving tip for you guys here. If you guys are at the governor, so you're hitting that governor and it's at 95 miles an hour, and you have a blowout, you're probably going to wreck. Okay. If you're not at that governor and let's say you're going 82 miles an hour and you have a blowout, you then are able to hit the accelerator to take over that sideways momentum force and then bring the ambulance to a safe stop. So I don't know if you guys know this, but if you have a front tire blowout, vehicle, you should pull that side, right? If you hit the accelerator, you take away that inertia to go to that side, and then you can slow the vehicle down and get it pulled over safely. If you're at the max speed of that vehicle, you don't have that ability to hit that accelerator and take over that speed. So it's going to pull you whichever way it wants to.
I have experience in the newer vehicles, like my pickup. It's a 12, but I was running about 80 into a front tire, and you couldn't hardly even tell.
Oh, really?
I mean, I felt it just but I was in the far lane and I had to get it across because it was this tire. But I mean, you couldn't hardly tell it even. Besides,
so now put a big old box that's top heavy on it, and you'll know.
well, I mean, you'll know, but I mean, they not like the old 70 models where you're like, you know.
We have steering stabilizers and stuff like that on it.
You know, don't break your wrist because you're trying to hold on to the steering wheel.
So, escorted or multiple vehicle responses. Inexperienced ambulance operator often follows the escort vehicles too closely and is unable to stop when the lead vehicle makes an emergency stop. So don't be right on the ass of the vehicle that's escorting. Recommendations of no escort unless absolute necessary. And then greater care must be used. Factors that affect response. Day of the week. Why is that? Well, because maybe Oklahoma City's a lot busier Monday morning than it is Sunday morning, right? Time of the day, rush hours happen. And even out here, people still go to work. The roads are a little busier at certain times of the day. Weather, road maintenance and construction, railroads, bridges and tunnels, schools and school buses. Navigating to the scene. Global positioning, satellite GPS, navigation often installed. No substitute for an intimate knowledge of the response area may become a distraction. We have map books here, and I've tried to get my people to learn how to use map books.
Like a topo map?
No, it will be, it's a very simple cross-reference map. If you know how the 911 system works out here, it's actually a GPS location is what your address is. Or not GPS, but it's a mileage marker location. And so if you know how it works, you don't need Sarah Batterton calling you and texting you. where this patient's house is, or Vera Holly calling you. That distracts me from my call. I have my map book and I'm going to navigate my driver there. That's me being old school. That's how we used to always do it. The passenger was a navigator, so you had the map book open. Wichita, they give you the map book page. B16, turn to B16. Okay, here we are. So what you're going to do, and you start telling them. Out here, it's nice whenever you say, okay, so your next road is going to be 1980 road. Then from 1980, you'll pass 1970, and then you're going to take a right on 1960. And so that way they know, okay, there's 1980, so I know that I'm going to go past 1970. I don't have to slow down and look. I'm going to go past 1970, and they know one more mile after 70, 60, and that's where they're going to turn. And you give them directions like that. It makes it a lot easier. And GPS is great, but you guys ever driven in GPS where you're like, shit, I just missed my turn because my arrow's not at the right place, you know? It looks like you're not quite there yet. I'm done.
I guess we didn't have that way in the disposal world blowed up. But they called me back even, and they're like, where are you at? And I'm like, 4 miles west, 2 north, the old bridge at disposal well. They called me back like 3 times, and it was Vera driving. And I was like, I know that she knows where it's at. And I was like, from the stop sign in Shawnee, go 4 west, 2 north, on top of the hill, you'll see the flames from town if you just look that direction. I think that's before we didn't have 911 then. I don't even know what the road was called. Like Croton Creek or Towdy Hills. I'm like, Towdy Hills Road.
Yeah, the 911 system was, where the SWOTA addresses were just put in whenever I came, so that was almost 8 years ago. That was a lot more difficult to drive by road because you're looking at RM 29, Roger Mills County Road 29, and things like that. I'm just making shit up, but that's
No, but I mean, I lived out there. I didn't even know if there was a sign out there.
so. Back then, it was a lot more difficult. Now, it's
I
See, and
knew.
I have a feeling this is gonna be one of my downfalls, because I'm a type of person, even up in the city.
Do you travel with directions?
No, but I go by landmarks. I mean, even here, I can tell you where some roads are just because, but I'm like, you know, you go out home. I am.
Blue Barrel.
Here-
Well,
here-
Blue Barrel don't have the Blue Barrel out there anymore.
Let me tell you the problem with Blue Barrel Road is exactly that. All of a sudden, Blue Barrel Road's not there, or you get robbed, who's not from this
Yeah, that's
area,
what I'm saying.
that has no
Where's
clue.
Blue Barrel Road?
But I mean, I'm even that way, say going to the city or whatever.
Yeah.
We know where we're going. I can't give you an address, but you know, when you're going down here, you go past Panera Bread and you turn right, and then you go 2 blocks and you're right there.
If you put in a little time, I promise the map book for navigation is easy.
So we use topo maps, doing one calls and getting
Yeah.
the oil field part of it. So you learn.
Yeah.
You learn.
If I could find a GPS unit that I could put in addresses like my address, and that's always whenever somebody's like, oh, TomTom will get you there. Okay, so I could get a TomTom. I'll get me a TomTom from somebody. I'll borrow it, put in my address, and I said, no, it won't.
Are you not found?
I am found, but not at my real where I live.
Because like out there where I live, with the route number, they'll deliver. But if I order something over the internet, I couldn't get a gas card for one of the things because my address is not valid. I do not live there. And I'm like,
The pharmacy address isn't valid.
I'm like,
413 East Broadway. Not valid.
yeah, mine's not valid.
And you can't get anybody to help you out validating the address out here. It's like, how do we validate the address? Well, you got to do this. Okay, call them. Well, no, that so-and-so should have done it. Call them back. They say you should do it. No, I don't know how to do that.
Yeah, I don't live where I live, but I have an address.
Mine, about 1 in 3 delivery guys will drive there. And so, some guys will get it, but the other guys are like, oh, we're at a dirt road. I don't live on a dirt road. Where are you at? Okay, you need to come back south. It usually takes them north of
Where do you
6.
live at?
1114 74 North 1940 Road. So you know where that rural water district number 3 water tower is out on 6? You go on 6, you got that water tower sits up on that hill. Go about half a mile south of that on that road, and that's where I live, on the east side of the road. So, in between 6 and 40. So the typical GPS error takes in north. I think Garmin takes you south of 40, which we're in between 6 and 40.
But you can't get on 40 from those roads either, can you? You get on the access road.
Yeah, you get the access road, but yeah, you can't get on 40. So anyway, if I ever found one, I'd be more than happy to use it. The problem that I have with it is until there's one that's 100% accurate, I don't feel like it's a safe thing for us to do, because can you trust it anyway?
Yeah.
You know, do you want to?
These are pretty good.
They are pretty
I mean, they're
good.
pretty good. They'll get
Pretty
you,
good.
I mean, not for an emergency, but they'll get you in the vicinity closer than like some of them where you're like,
But the problem is there's always an address on them that takes you to the wrong place,
yeah.
and you can't have that.
One that he and you run in the country, he's going to.
So
But they'll take you the long way around too.
yeah, they definitely
Like
can.
when there's an easier route, but they'll take you.
But the long way's fine as long as it'll take me there.
Right.
I'm okay with that. Obtain detailed maps of your service area. This is something that I highly encourage you guys to learn how to use. I'm not going to tell you that you need to learn how, where every house or every address is, but you need to learn how to use the map book. And it would be good of you if you look at this map back here. Hey, Mitch. If you look at this map back here, I kind of have it laid out, kind of how the numbers go in Roger Mills County. And so that way you get a general idea of which direction to go when you start rolling out to somewhere. So that you could head towards, where the heck did you come from?
Where did you go from?
Well, Mitch goes in that door and you come out that door. I'm a little confused.
I was gonna say, she walked in.
Sneaky.
I guess. So, response safety summary. Minimize lights and siren hot responses. Driving with lights and siren involve high risk. And like I told you guys at the EVOC, I'm fairly certain that in the next 5 years, they will not have lights and sirens. Or if they do, it'll be very rare use of lights and sirens. Wear your seatbelt. Seatbelts will save lives. It's important. Those ambulances are heavy, and things happen really fast. Know where you're going before you respond. Use the GPS and check the maps. Be familiar with your response area. Come to a complete stop at intersections. Don't be a distracted driver. Have the crew leader operate the radio, siren, GPS, computer, and other devices. Pay complete attention to safe driving. So don't let your partner talk to their spouse and everybody else on the way to the call. They need to be helping you get to the call. Safety at highway incidents. Keep unnecessary units and people off the highway. Avoid crossovers unless a turn can be completed without obstructing traffic. If yours is the first unit on scene, park apparatus upstream from incident. So you're going to go past the incident and park upstream from it. Why? Well, then whenever you leave, you go straight out. And the other thing is you're protected by all the other units behind you as you're loading it. Signer, well, probably 20 years ago now, lost an EMT loading a patient when the a car rear-ended them while they were loading a patient. Happens. So wear your safety, wear your PPE. So you're gonna have a reflective vest. Wear those. As a matter of fact, my understanding is most insurance companies, if you're killed on a scene and you're not wearing your reflective vest, most ambulance insurance companies will refuse to pay. So just FYI.
So if someone gets killed with the vest on, please call.
Yeah. I don't know why it's not as bloody as they are. I have no idea.
You're in the blood first.
My people are typically pretty good about putting the vests on. So, place cones, flares, and reduce emergency light. Anybody drive up on a scene where at night when the freaking emergency lights are everywhere and blind you? Makes it hard to know where to go, right? So think about that. Unit placement is important. Backing up, avoid backing up if possible, especially during emergencies. Transferring the patient to the ambulance. Select proper patient carrying device. Package patient for transfer. Move patient to ambulance. Load patient into ambulance. Okay, we're done with that.
Gee.
So packaging a patient, readying patient to be moved, and combining patient and patient carrying devices as unit ready for transfer. Sick or injured patients must be packaged so that condition is not aggravated. Guys, if you have somebody that's having chest pain, don't make them walk to your ambulance. All right, go ahead and put them in the cot and carry them out. Last thing you want to do is like, can you walk out to my ambulance out there? 'Cause I don't feel like carrying your fat ass. Last thing you want to happen is them to have a heart attack and go down because you're making them walk. It's going to be hard to defend if the family sues you. So, before placing patient on carrier device, complete necessary care for wounds, other injuries, stabilize impelled objects, check dressing and splints, cover patient and secure patient in the carrying device. Another thing that I can recommend, I don't know if I'll get to this or not, also evaluate your entrance and exit from it. Can we put this patient on our cot and make all these turns? Or do we need to look at something different? We have things like stair chairs or mega movers, which is big tarps with handles, where we could carry them through places that the cot won't make it. So look at that. Last thing you want to do is get them all packaged up nice and neat and then realize that, well, we can't, how they are, we can't get them out like this. We had to turn the cot on its side to even get in here. Must be secured to patient carrying device. Minimum of 3 straps secure. Chest, waist, and lower extremities use shoulder harnesses available. You're going to see that most all ambulances now have shoulder harnesses. I believe it's a state regulation. But now you're starting to see them go from where they used to come up over and they didn't really do anything besides hold the pillow in place, to the cots are cut out where the shoulder harness is fed right over. Ours crisscross. So we have one that crosses over here, latches, cross over here, latches. And then there's that one, and that one. We actually, less than 6 months ago, we went to the 20G crash rating for our ambulances. That's the new standard. I felt like since we had the money that we had to go up to that standard, which was an investment in straps and different mattresses and things in our ambulance. But I feel like if we didn't have the money, we could actually justify why we're waiting until we went to a new ambulance. We had the money. It would be hard for me to justify if they had a crash, the patient became dislodged, killed my medic. I have 2 dead now. It'd be hard for me to justify that I didn't do that new crash rating standard. So that's too cheap. Protecting the EMT at greater risk in patient compartment. Make sure all equipment is secured, remain seated, wear seatbelt and harness if possible, avoid unnecessary movement during response and transport. Please don't leave your monitor unstrapped in the ambulance. If you put it on you move it to the bench seat or you move it over to the other side, please strap it down. On your oxygen cylinders, don't just lay them under the head, okay? Secure them. If that ambulance gets into a rollover accident or into a high-speed crash, all those things become projectiles, and that's what kills you in the bathroom, is that stuff flying. Transporting the patient to the hospital. Continue assessment, secure stretcher in place, and ambulance position, and secure patient, just security straps. Prepare for respiratory and cardiac complications. What's up, Mitch?
I have no assignments in the EMS one.
Did I?
Your supply person told me that I was behind. So it's all good.
My supply person needs to mind their own fucking business.
Maybe she's going.
I definitely should, but I'm not going to. That's a confrontation I don't want to go through. Or
You said
did-
something, and I was like, January one, she said, no, 16.
Did I add you to ementor.com? Didn't sign you? I'll have to look at it because I've had other people saying that they're not getting their assignments. I'll look at it on Tuesday.
You put something around that.
Mutual?
I'm gonna
We are
try.
not there yet.
But you want to know the complete, honest to God truth? I've yet to see an ALS or BLS module is different. They seem to be the same freaking thing. Could be an overachiever, Mitch.
Would you rather be underachieved?
I'd rather you just be even keeled. It's not a if or. It's you could just do what you're supposed to do.
I feel what I should do would be totally prepared before I start class. So, I'm on the 17 kg book already.
You what?
My 17
You might need
kg
to
Jesus
slow.
Christ. I
I need
started
to warm
off
up.
ready 4 complete AD books.
Hey, we're taking a break.
Okay.
We interrupted your class.
Gotta go warm up. You're about 3 weeks in.
Jesus.
I'm
You're
cold
down
nature.
here about 70 times.
I'm a dry cleaner, so if it's under 80 degrees, if I'm used to it being about
Put
120.
about 7 IVs in Angel. I'm finally getting, I was coming in too shallow. So I started coming down and then I think I was driving the top
Yeah.
and scratching it above the nose.
Yep.
What else do I need to be doing to prepare?
Maybe taking a chill pill?
Thank you.
I work 7 days a week. I can't take two hours.
No, Jesus.
Or not next month, I'm work 3 days now.
Did you give me Grammy days?
Every Friday, Saturday, but 1.
No.
So I work every Friday or Saturday, but that
What's the name of your day, Jay?
So I'm giving your wife all the hours.
she needs them. Keep out of trouble.
Whatever.
We'll look
What
at
is
it.
your honest opinion of what things are saying?
No.
That's kind of what I've been hearing. So,
If I could give you an honest opinion of signer, is they'll use you and abuse you. Part-time basis might be okay, but
the story I heard was since Kenny died, it's a cluster block.
it is, as a part-time guy, you will avoid a lot of that. There is a good side to signer, and that's call volume. Um,
We have to run 50 team leagues on last semester.
But Mitch, we're gonna have purpose at the city.
I know, but
It's gonna be okay.
yeah, no,
They'll make sure you get it done.
50's nothing. If you're riding with them, so 50's nothing. You're, I mean, as a paramedic student, you're probably looking at 3 months riding time. So I forget how many hours it is. Is that 180 in the ambulance, or is that total clinical?
it's 24 hours the first semester. It's the 36 the next 2 semesters. You got it on here?
See, our program was a little different. We went through the whole didactic, and then we did our ride-alongs and stuff. And what we did is we did all of our didactic, and then we did through the summer. So 3 months in the hospital, where we did all the different things, the surgery, ER, OB, psych, all those rotations in the hospital. After we got done with that, they signed us with a Sedgwick County unit. When that unit was on, we were on. And so I did that for 4 months. And you're looking at 10 patients a day, 14 days a month. So you're looking at 140 patients a month times 4 months is, almost 500 patients is what you end up doing. Oh, yeah, if you do what's right
There we are.
and don't
And
try.
over in the 2 football games that we fund, if we get to be on the field and not like walking around the street.
A lot of times you walk down the stands to get going. Yeah, 576 total hours. They do it a little bit. That's cool. I like how ours was set up. I like that my preceptor knew where I was in my program the whole time, and so they knew what I needed to work on.
Yeah.
Versus you're going to get a new preceptor every time you go on.
And only going once every 3 weeks for lab. But you can't work it and be in lab twice a week either.
Yeah, that was. Whenever I did it, it was tough. It was tough too, because I was working. Luckily, I worked for somebody that allowed me to work on my days that I wasn't doing, 24 hours.
We'll do that for January.
Do what?
You'll work around the 24 hours.
Oh yeah, I mean that's easy enough. It's not the same type of experience, but I just do it with a lifeguard. If you want a job.
I would rather do, I would stop the one job, and check my Monday through Thursday.
That's
I would rather
benefits. That gives you a benefit.
I gotta have this,
Yeah. So
if I could get on like the Weatherford, and we're actually running calls, not just
yeah, I forget that Weatherford is
over,
full service now.
just the transport and demand.
No,
You're either shutting the back.
it sucks when you can go over there and make $10 an hour to do transport, or you can make $35 an hour to run my transfer.
And I'm never around on insurance.
Oh Jesus, they're going out all the time. I'm always thinking, well, where the hell's Mitch at on this Saturday transfer?
Last Friday, I was in my Utah.
I'm just
Yesterday, I had
kidding. I
my,
don't really give a fuck.
yesterday, I had my court-ordered AA meeting.
The problem with you is not the problem with you that you need more hours. The only days you got are Saturday and Sunday, Friday, Saturday.
Yeah.
And so Fridays are usually already taken by Caitlin and Beer. That's kind of their normal day. Whenever Caitlin's not there, I have to put somebody else on, but that's not very often. And then Saturdays is a 24-hour shift. And I promise you, if I put you on every Saturday, I might try to do, I don't know if you want it. I didn't know if you want that or not. If I did that, everyone, you get Mitchell a 24-hour shift, me. And they start crying. And then that's what people like to do around here. Do you want to work Saturday? No. Well, shut up.
Could do the insurance and not be what you need.
Man, I don't have insurance positions. I have 2, which are already taken. Which they're which
What
they're,
did you say?
you could open one of them, which that's a new thing. I mean, we're looking at probably our third month of that. And for 7 years, it was, I was it. Now, the reason I went for that is because before that, they used to have 2 people in the internet.
And what days does she work? Does she kind of get chewed out for,
I get chewed out.
well, how would you describe it?
What'd she say?
I don't know.
About what?
I don't know. She was like, well, we've been trying to do a few 5 days a week when it started. And then I don't know. Just go Dina. She's gonna have something to say about everything.
The
You know
problem,
how she is.
the problem is that she can only get 36 hours, which is 4 days. Because we work 9 hours a day.
Right.
And so you have 36 hours. I can't give her that many days. The whole thing that what I said, and she has her own opinion, I think, and she needs to keep her own opinion for herself. It's a good way to make me not your friend.
I just asked her, like, this next week, if she knew, if I knew that we could come on Monday, we just spoke on Monday, and I said, do you know what day I need to be there? And she's like, well, I might have to have somebody come in Friday. And that's okay. And she's like, oh, we can,
She was a city council.
I know, but Marty's available. She can have some Marty to come, because Marty said yesterday she speaks up hours. So,
Rodina needs to, and maybe Rodina is going to be told what her place is. And it's not to concern herself with these types of matters.
I was
Not-
just trying to get prepared, so I can let my mother-in-law know that the girls are at home, I'm gonna be over there.
Yeah.
I mean, they're fine home, but I like somebody to know they're there and I'm not. I didn't know if, like, they rotate Mondays, if I needed to be Monday, I didn't know how that worked.
Yeah, they rotate. One of them will be off Monday, and then one will be off Wednesday.
Okay.
And so, but what I told you is most likely, if they figure out somebody else is here, they're going to probably want to rotate Mondays and Fridays.
Okay.
And
That's
so,
fine.
and so you'd probably be Monday and Friday, if I were to guess.
Yeah.
Uh,
I mean, my schedule's all there. I don't have to know.
yeah.
So I'm flexible with them. I mean, if they'll just let me know. I don't know, this seems like the Thursday or something.
Yeah, she needs to not
But she
concern
kind
herself.
of, I don't know if she had that day or what, but I don't know. So, I figured I just went up to see and start to start doing it. That'd be a good way. Anyway.
Okay.
Yeah, we just have to make it fun. It was fun,
I got one online in 3 years.
One on there? That would be good too.
Leedy hasn't been online for quite some time, and Leedy doesn't have 3, they have 2. I kicked one out. Aaron wasn't want to leave.
Oh,
Leedy had Jacinda,
and
Cambry, and
Macy.
Macy. Macy's gone. The only way Jacinda and Cambry are going to be able to test it if they do everything and get me a date up for their EMR. If they don't, I cannot sign them off. So,
Affects your grade at the end.
mhm.
if you had 4 out of 16 passed the class, that was good on you.
Well, question is,
Do what?
question is,
He's doing a lot better. So, yes. He had a epidural bleed and skull fracture, and they didn't think he was gonna make it. By Tuesday night, he was responding. By Wednesday or Thursday, they extubated him, and he was able to talk. And he's already home. Still can't walk. He's real unstable on his feet and stuff. But I imagine there's still some swelling. He had unequal, non-reactive pupils, and those fixed. He has nerve damage on his right eye, can't look up, down, right, can't open his eye. But they think that whenever the swelling goes down and stuff, that may come back. He damaged that ocular nerve. What's that? I don't think so. I don't know. We did a GoFundMe because my sister's gonna be with him all summer, going through rehab and stuff. But I really thought that he was gonna be in the hospital a lot longer. I figured he'd be in there a month. But I mean, his progress is just. I mean, the surgery, like, this is amazing, because whenever he did the surgery, he came out and said, he told her, this is bad. I don't know, this is bad. So I was fairly certain I'd been going to a funeral on this week.
We were afraid to ask. When you seen it on Hangouts,
I have a sticker.
What's that? Were you saying that?
I was saying we're gonna ask it.
Oh,
Heard
yeah.
anything. We didn't want to go through it. Okay. Well, so let me get back to it.
all right.
Thanks for letting us know. Thank you.
They had a smoke. They're all smokers.
I'm not saying nothing.
I just stand out there with the smokers. I'm not a smoker. I just stand there.
Thank you.
Talk to you later.
I went and got my EMT.
Do you want this open? So she's not freezing? One said yes, one doesn't.
Whatever, we manage. I went and got my EMT pants and I took them to Tanya Roar and said, cut the waistband off. They're a little high waisted. So she redid my waistband. I'm like, I can't wear these.
All
I
right.
can. I came up to here and I was like, okay, these are not Rocky Mountains and they don't need to look that good. I said, cut the waistband off and bring them down. And hem them, because they don't have a hem in them. They're a little long.
Preparing for patient transport. Loosening constricted clothing, load relative or friends who must accompany a patient. Guys, there is not an ambulance service out there. Not a single one, not an insurance policy that covers ambulance out there that will not allow a rider. Don't use that as an excuse. If you don't want them to ride, tell them no, all right? If they're drunk, sorry, you can't ride with us. It's not an insurance policy thing. It's a safety thing. Now, if they're not drunk, please, if they want to ride, allow them. All right? It drives me insane. Oh, no, you can't ride. Our insurance won't allow. It's a fucking ambulance. It's designed to transport people. This is a person. It's fine. And so that's not a true thing if you hear it. Mom can't compose herself with a kid, then set her up front. You know, hey, I'll have you sit here, okay? There's anything you do. I am of the mind if mom could keep her composure, she could ride in the back with me. Why? Because she keeps this kid calm, one. Two, she knows everything about this kid. And so she's a great resource for me. And that's it. But you know what? If she is losing her mind, then I can't have her back there. AJ, and I'll be honest with Mom. There's a chance that I'm going to be doing things to your child, like sticking a tube in their throat. Can you handle that? Yes, I can. Okay. And yes, I can. They had to do it the last time this happened. We're good to go. Why? Because that mom knows that kid better than I do. All right. A mom will know that their kid is going downhill way before you do. So, all right. You know, and another thing is, like on the loved ones, like the elderly patients, last thing I want to be is the asshole that didn't let her see her husband or his wife before they died on the way into the hospital, right? So I'm okay with it. Yes, I do judge how the person's acting or reacting to the situation and where I let them ride. But you know, it might be safer for grandma to ride up front with you than to try to drive and distraught. And old people can't drive anyway, manner. So yeah, let them ride. Drunk and belligerent, they don't get the ride. You're drunk and belligerent. No, you can't go with me. Should have stopped drinking 5 days ago, and then maybe we could be talking. Low personal effects. Talk to your patient and avoid letting patients sit on bench or airway seat. On bench or patients, okay, yeah, whatever. I've let patients ride in captain's chairs. You know, it's like, oh, I need to go and get checked out for what? Well, my pinky swollen. All right, sit right there. Put your belt on. Let's go. I'm not messing with my cot with your pinky. Notify the hospital. This is a big one. Ellen appreciates it when she knows she has a patient coming in. I think she understands though whenever we're at the upper apartments and we can't let her. I mean, we don't. There's not time. But try if at all possible. A lot of times they're listening to the radio. They know that somebody's coming. But it is always nice to let them know, and it's actually you should let them know. Continue to provide emergency care as required. Use safe practices during transport. Compile additional patient information. Continue assessment and monitor vital signs. Notify the receiving facility. The hospital will love you if you're able to give name, date of birth, meds, allergies, history, all of these great pieces of information that they need. A good story of what happened, a good story of the surroundings at times that are important. If you're able to paint them a picture where they have a really good idea of what happened and why this patient is in the situation, they'll appreciate that. The entire scene may create a terrifying experience for a child. Yes, it may. A toy such as a teddy bear can do much to calm frightened children. We used to have bags of teddy bears in our ambulances that are donated to us. But the problem is ambulances aren't very clean places. Not just blood and snot and things like that, but dirt. Those seals aren't the greatest, so dirt gets in there. And so you pull out the teddy bear, you dust off the dirt. I just threw them away. They're, you know, no. Now, if they had some prepackaged teddy bears or something like that you could give a kid, or open it and give it to a kid that's clean, that could be cool. The presence of a female EMT or police officer may be helpful. Some men are scary, especially some EMT men. Anybody look at the people that you're going to be working around, just maybe not necessarily Roger Mills, because you already know. You know Jimmy's just Jimmy, right? But have you gone and looked at some of these guys and these other services? Some of them are ogres. I mean, it's like, it's scary. Yeah, they can be. So, sometimes you don't have a woman to ride in the back with. Some of the women, you know, that's scary too, by the way. So, I bet she could beat him up. So, small children do not, as a rule, carry identification. It's your card, kid. Transferring the patient to emergency department staff, like I said, give a great report. If routine admission situation or when illness or injury is not life-threatening injury, check first to see what is to be done with patient. You know, swing by Wichita is an example of this. Hey, you want them back in the room or you want them in triage? Can they go to triage? Yeah, they can go to triage. Okay, take them to triage. Ran into a situation that we just do not do very often, which is taking a patient to Oklahoma City to a surgery center. That's just not, they don't receive patients by ambulance very often at all, and we don't take them there. So it's an odd situation for both of us. To the best of your ability, work with the staff on what to do with the patient.
All the things and all the time, I think, like I told the girl, shit happens, things to do, it wasn't.
Exactly. You will notice that everybody, every ambulance service in Oklahoma City, no matter what hospital you're going to, is IMSA. We're not IMSA, we're Roger Mills. Yeah, the ambulance. They don't care. And you are, even as a paramedic, and you don't even drive the freaking ambulance, you're an ambulance driver. It's just what you are, and whatever. Don't lose sleep. Assist emergency department staff as required and provide a verbal report. Here is a little different situation than most other places. Here we'll hang out and help them. Now in the big city, they like to abuse us by letting us sit there with a patient. Now understand something. Until they sign that piece of paper, they're your patient. Once they sign that piece of paper, it's their patient. The problem is they like to let you sit in the hallway for a long time until they're ready for you. It becomes a fight. Here, if we could send one person, at least get our ambulance ready and stay in health, and they appreciate it. Makes us look like makes us look like good guys whenever we do help out. So, if you do have a problem with a nurse that they're kind of shitty with you, talk to Ellen. Just say, "Hey, Ellen, I don't know if I don't know if you're just having a bad day or something, but did we do something wrong? Because the last thing that we want to do is we don't want to develop a bad working relationship. And there's been times throughout, even when I've been here, that the relationship's kind of gone up and down, depending on the nurse and things like that, depending on the day. And I feel like lately we've had a very good relationship, a lot less yelling at the EMTs. Because if they yell at us, you know what, I'm busy. Yep, I'm busy. See you later. And then they get mad. Where are they going? We were going to help, but you're an asshole. So anyway, help out if at all possible. Don't take abuse. You don't have to take abuse. If you do, let me know. Elle and I talked, and we talked about it before. So one of her nurses and I still don't really talk at all.
She's very short. She was got off the freaking run, and she's not even working. And she was going to the doctor. She's hollered at me, and I said, "What do you want?" And she goes, "That printer needs ink in it." And I said, "I don't care." She goes, "Well, I think we don't have any ink." And I said, "Did you put a request in to Kathy or Stephen?" "I work nights." I said, "Yeah, but you can leave me a lot of notes, can't you?" "Yeah." I said, "Well, then read them a freaking note."
Yeah.
I don't do ordering. And then I thought, "Oh, gosh."
Her and I,
Holler at me down the hallway.
it's funny because one of the biggest fights was over another RN. One of my RN paramedics comes in to help out and get their patient out of here, and she gets pissed off at her because they leave without the paperwork. Well, you know what? You call for the freaking transfer. She agreed to do it, and she's on a very tight schedule because of who she is. She's probably getting ready to go to AREVAC, and she doesn't have time to sit around for you to get the paperwork ready. And so she didn't need it, so she left without it. It wasn't even critical to the call. And oh my gosh, she's mad. So then I caught her chewing out one of my EMTs, and it was Marty, who's super sweet. And Marty just like, "Okay," and I was like,
Okay, so which nurse is?
No, I'm not saying name. You might get along with her great, and I would be really happy with that. But her and I are on a professional. We're not friends. We are professional. Yeah. So As a matter of fact, there's times where she won't even come into the ER to get a report from me. I have to give it to her. Hey. So, transfer of patient's personal effects, obtain your release from the hospital. Terminating the call. Pick your shit up. Quickly clean the patient compartment while taking appropriate standard precautions. Prepare respiratory equipment for service. Replace expendable items. Exchange equipment according to your local policy. Make up the ambulance. And just in the nurse's defense, there's times where I could be a jerk. Or it'll appear that I'm being a jerk, and I'm really not trying to be. So.
Sure.
You can't say you're a jerk,
Sure.
you just say what you need to say and be over it.
Short. I could be short at times.
I'm being short right now.
So in or out to the quarters, radio the dispatcher, air the ambulance if necessary, refuel the ambulance. Guys, if you have to air the ambulance out, most likely it needs to be decon. So take that take that, if you have a nasty, smelly ambulance, you'll have them. A nasty, smelly ambulance, go ahead and put that ambulance out of service while you're deconning it and move over to 22, run out of 22 to get a call right away. But can you imagine being a patient and you get put in an ambulance that smells like decon? I couldn't imagine running the one.
You open the doors and you drive up and down Main Street.
I would say you set it out. Set it out here. I worked with a guy. He would pull the cot out, and so all the cabinets are closed and everything. And he would take the hose and just spray down the bench seat and floor and captain's chair and stuff. Now he would spray the cabinets and everything, and then get like some cleaner and just take a mop and scrub it. And every once in a while they need that. You guys will find drops of blood or whatever. I've had patients in the aircraft where we get to the facility and we have blood stream down inside of our aircraft. It's a freaking mess. So. In quarters, place badly contaminated linens in a biohazard container and non-contaminated linens in a regular hamper. As necessary, clean any equipment that touches the patient. Clean and disinfect used non-disposable respiratory assist and inhalation therapy equipment. EMS is really going towards a lot of disposable equipment, which is good. It reduces your contamination and things like that. But guys, we have the funds. If it's disposable and the patient was on it, get rid of it. Signer is notorious for reusing sheets. It's a disposable sheet. Oh, it's just a little lady. They're not that dirty. It's laziness. They don't want to clean the cot. You know what? Clean it after every patient. It just takes a minute.
And read the chemicals to see how long it's supposed to stay.
Yeah, good point. So, yeah, if a chemical's supposed to sit there for 3 minutes, don't just spray it on and wipe it right off. You didn't do anything.
So I have to do
Another thing is, like the Cavicide, wear your gloves when you use Cavicide. It says on there, oh, it's a cleaning agent. It says on there not to touch it with your bare skin. Don't. It's killing shit, isn't it?
But I've had an ER so bad that got so much on me. I used one of them because I thought the patient probably has more. I'll take my chances.
I used to work with a lady who after some of those calls, she'd be like, I need a bleach shower. It's that nasty.
There has been, and I've used the Cavicide one night. I was so grossed out.
So
I didn't want to get my car. I didn't want to go to the house. I was just like
no, exactly.
freaked out.
Is there a shower here?
That is guys, and that is a good point. I didn't want to get in my car. I didn't want to go to my house. You got to think about that. Some of these places you go and you walk.
And I used to be stripping off out in the front yard just because.
Most EMS services have access to a washer and dryer for that exact reason. Not because you should always carry a spare uniform with you. Not because you need to do your laundry there, but because you might have went into a place that's so nasty you don't want to take that home to your family. And think about that on your boots too. I'm always reading about my boots, but I've had puke, blood, everything on my boots, and I just wipe it off the grass. gas and go on, and then time I get home and I got all these blood spots all over my boots. And it's like, I really should clean that off because you get the bloodborne pathogens and you could be transporting hepatitis to your family. So anyway, clean vehicle and complete your paperwork. Air rescue, operational reasons to speed transport to distant trauma center. When extrication of high priority patient is prolonged, air rescue can speed transport when patient must be rescued from remote location. Air rescue is one of the things that I think it's great for areas out here, but it's being looked at as, are we overutilizing air rescue as a whole? Whenever you start looking at people in Yukon using air ambulance, that's a little too much. Okay, you really need a true time distance thing to get to justify it. There is risk involved with it. My replacement for Equal Med out of Oklahoma City, 6 months after I left, he replaced me. He was involved in a crash. Dodged that bullet, right?
I had a friend that was killed in the one in Amarillo. The airplane. With hospital with him.
It's for me, it was always that other service, that other helicopter, kind of distant, out of sight, out of mind type thing. That really brought it home to me whenever it was the helicopter I worked on with my partner that got killed on it, and a pilot that I was friends with got killed on it. All of a sudden, it became very real how dangerous air medical can be. Right out here. Yep. They go to lift off right out here. Everything's shut down. Right over that church. Luckily, the pilot is a very good pilot. Was able to bank it and slam it down onto the ground. And they did a hard landing. Basically, they got out and walked over there and had some cupcakes or whatever the cake was at that park. And Sabrina's on it, and she just things don't faze her. She's like, no big deal. Like, no big deal. I wouldn't got on another freaking helicopter like that. Clinical reasons: patient shot, GCS less than 10, head injury with altered mental status, chest trauma and respiratory distress, penetrating injuries to the body cavity. Amputation proximal hand or foot, extensive burns, serious mechanism of injury. Patient is post-cardiac arrest with a pulse. They will not transport a pulseless patient. There's just not enough room to run a code in that aircraft. Everybody's like, oh, they can't shock that. No, we'll shock them. Just don't have room to run a code in that aircraft. Another thing that we won't take an imminent delivery in the aircraft. Why? Well, I don't have access to where I need access to deliver this baby. And two, I don't have a way to transport this baby once it's delivered in the aircraft. Once the mom's stomach, we're cool. Once it's out, oh no, I have to have another way to transport them. So, how to call for air ambulance? We had blah blah blah. How to set up a LZ? A lot of times they'll come out and they will do a class for you. Typically, they like a clear 100 by 100, no trees, power lines, things like that. Another thing they like is if you can mark the power line somehow. The power lines disappear whenever they cross the road. So whenever we're coming down and we're looking out, we have to be real careful, and it helps us a lot if you'll say you have a power line crossing the road and we put a car under it. Cool, we could see it now. That gray wire crossing that gray road, it's gone. So there's 100 by 100. Don't ever approach the aircraft unless you have contact with the pilot and he waves you in. Be careful if it's a slope down, don't take the slope down. Approach from the underside because that blade can cause you problems. Don't chase things. If you drop paper when you're loading that patient, it's gone. Don't chase it. They have about once a year, a nurse will drop papers, not thinking, and they'll run right back into that tail rotor. Thing spins at about, I think it's 3,200 RPMs. The aircraft's out of service at that point in time, and so is the nurse. And it's usually very, very messy. Oh man, my nurse, where'd she go? So, basically, if you're walking behind the aft compartment, they should be stopping you. You should not cross over onto that tail section at all. Things to think about: no hats, secure anything like blankets that could fly off. You don't want that stuff to go into that rotor system because it's going to shut that helicopter down, and then you're going to have to figure out another way to get the patient to the hospital. And like I said, don't chase him. There's a tail rotor. It's dangerous. Do not approach unless escorted by flight personnel. Allow the crew to direct loading of the patient. Stay clear of tail rotor at all times. Keep all traffic and vehicles at least 100 feet from the helicopter. Do not smoke near aircraft. Be aware of danger areas. Basically, keep your head on a swivel when you're on the aircraft. Blah, blah, chapter review. I'm done at 36. Now, I want to get through at least a few of these. Yeah, I spent too much time blabbing today. Just kidding. Just kidding. Oh, 37, hazmat, multiple casualty incidents and incident management. How many? Yeah, we'll just start on it. We're done. You guys are on your own after this. What's 38?
Highway safety and vehicle education.
I'm gonna. You guys need to go. Most everything from here on. Well, MCI you'll probably have some stuff on MCI. Let's do this. We'll kind of flip through these really fast, but do your own on the last three. But I do want to on Tuesday do an MCI drill with you guys. It's like a lab. It's going to be a lab, and basically we're going to utilize start and jump start triage. We'll go over those triage systems. I want you guys to. I'll do a pre. We'll do a pre. What you guys think each patient is that we have. See how you guys do on it because it should go over. Does it go over start triage? Has anybody done this chapter yet? And see if you guys actually learn from it. And but there's usually some things in those that are kind of gut check moments. Just they do go over start. So the creator of the Jumpstart triage thing is actually where I learned Jumpstart, which Jumpstart is for pediatric patients. Her and I didn't like each other. She the doctor out, I think it's Florida, where she's from. She didn't like me.
So maybe try to go over this chapter.
So we need to have 37 by Tuesday.
They need to examine this chapter.
Do they?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm not going to go over this then. If they're doing NIMS and stuff like that, what I am going to do is send you guys out and it'll take you forever to do it. You don't need to do it. You guys will want to have a general understanding of the command structure for NIMS for your natural history testing. It'll be things simple like the triage officer, what they're called, what the main guy on the scene is called, and things like that. But you will be a lot more attractive hiring candidate if you have NIMS 100, 200, 700, and 800. And so I'll send you out the link where to do that. Yeah, you have 3 and 4. I know. We're like rarities out here. I know, nobody cares. Like Ella and I are 1, 2, 3, 4, 7, and 8. You guys are just like, you don't even know. You don't even know what that means. We could go work on national incidents. We could be
I
there.
would love to watch one actually go up and actually.
Melanie says that they actually have these classes that you could go to, and it is big.
The whole,
Yeah, it's they have patients that are all moulaged and everything. So I'm not, it's just,
I want to do that.
hazmat. We kind of learned a lot about what you guys need to know about hazmat. You guys probably, I think by state standards, you're supposed to have a hazard whoppers. Nobody has checked us on that yet. If they do, well, we're all screwed. Because nobody here has whoppers, which is just a basic understanding of hazmat. For you guys, hazmat boils down to this. You read the placard and you stay away from it until somebody brings it out to you. They need to be deconned before they get to you. So, boom, boom, boom. But know what your hot zone, warm zone, and cold zone are. You guys will be working in the cold zone. Hot zone is the incident itself. That's they pull them out to a warm zone where they decon them, and they bring them to the cold zone after decon, which is you. We talked already about the safety data sheets or MSDS sheets, material safety data sheets. If you have access to those, I'd say you need to use those. If not, you need to use. Not everything.
Chris completed, but we only completed the.
Don't help me, Ellen. But we're set.
I think I have one for you. Emergency response guidebook. You can look it up by placard number, and then you can go and read more about it. So you drive along and see a placard number 2782. Okay, there's 2782. It's some weird thing, I don't know. But it's guide number 131. So then you go back here and see what they by guide number 131. Health, the toxic, maybe fatal in hell. Oh, that sounds fun, right? Ingested or absorbed through the skin. Oh, that sounds fire equipment, highly flammable. Wow. Evacuation, there's evacuation thing. If a tank, rail car, or truck is involved in a fire, isolate for 800 meters or half a mile in all directions. Also consider initial evacuation for 800 meters and half a mile in all directions. So it kind of gives you everything that you need to do for that. Simply by looking for placard numbers. Another thing that you can do is you can look at the name of it. You look at the name, and then it'll give you ID numbers. So if you know that, calcium hypochlorite dry. Its placard number is 1748, and its dry number is 140. So they go back here, 1748. Yeah. All right. Mixed to dry with more than 39% available Recording, oh, it's 140, what's the 140? So the guy number is, you get a lot on that. There you go. Yeah, don't touch. Large evacuation, large scale, consider initial downward evacuation for pollution. Gotta find it. Here's the newer one. Here's the 2016 one. It needs to be.
Oh, 1993. 1993. I used to have to, I worked at the DXP, the safety. Class A surgery. And you used to have to, I don't remember all of them, but I used to order the placards. So I had to, we had to research to find what number they were, so we don't know what number they are. And you just, this is my mind. You just want to have the field book, you can make all kinds of things. But you probably were scared to remember about common
I
word.
know my kids all take that and do a report on all the stuff you got.
That's what I was gonna say. If you do a transfer, then you wanna get really good at using it every time on the pass, like their classes number. When you get that number, you can look it up. I think there's other things too, like,
I look at them anyway and try to figure out, like, what is that, soap, or is that like hand freeze, or,
That's about certain people.
they have,
you know, they have the hazardous, you know, do you know?
it's all your different classes. So 112 is explosive, 111 is dangerous.
I didn't know the question, I was having to order those, because I was am I getting the numbers in the right place, you know, because you get them in the wrong places.
So right here, here's explosives, you see a placard that looks like that, you're like, what's that placard? So you turn here, oh, hey, look, it's 112 explosive, and you come in and talk about explosives. They're pretty cool. I used to, what I did when I was in Mini and G, I would be driving past the street. There's all kinds of things. There's not really at all. So this is kind of the cool thing. So you can look it up here, and it's a real quick down and dirty isolate and where how far to protect the small scale to large scale.
Here's the light doesn't work.
Remember the old black brush, it's this big and they're black and they.
Look at the bowl. Where's the bowl at? Did you find the bowl? Yeah, graphic instrument management system.
What we have to take is blocking posting or let them know. Oh my God, that's my
Technically, the other night was not what you would expect at a course.
you shouldn't take the full,
We're gonna do anything?
the problem I have is the force does things like slalom, descending, space, you know, for me, when am I ever going to slalom through something? Is this real world application?
Maybe they just don't have hot
I think it's silly.
What do you do when you're in a big city and you're gridlocked and the ambulance can't get to where they need to be?
The
You
ambulance,
get out and cook it?
no, the ambulance will look for a way through, so,
But I mean, what if you first and then just, there's no way through?
well, a lot of times you'll take the shoulder, other times you'll go onto oncoming traffic.
I just think about like the interstates and then they got the barriers through and people are just,
We'll go over onto the shoulder down to the ditch and go around them all. Another way is they'll go on past the accident and come back to it. So, there's all kind of, and there's a lot of times they'll have information, and then sometimes you'll see this. You'll see it coming down, and they'll split it, and so cars move over, and usually the highway patrol will lead through like that, and they'll split
I
it.
mean, most generally that's how they do split. But when they do have like a bad accident, the cars just went everywhere, piled up, gridlocked. Who knows?
A nuclear explosion.
I can just see it like in Oklahoma City where the exchange is, you know, where you go to Tulsa or you go downtown. If you get hung up right there,
There's terrorism.
like there's nowhere to go.
Get expert advice about next actions. That's a very good idea on any hazmat. Here's your guidebook. We just talked about it. You want your treatment area in the cold zone. You want to make sure that you want to keep an eye on the weather, especially, let's say that we got like a chlorine gas, spill or something out here. You want to know which way the wind's blowing. And you want to keep an eye on the weather to make sure that it doesn't turn and blow at you. Decon in the warm zone. Four types of patients: uninjured, not contaminated; injured and not contaminated; uninjured and contaminated; injured and contaminated. Blah blah blah. Mechanism of decontamination: emulsification, chemical reaction, disinfection, dilution, absorption, or absorption, removal and disposal. So, I'm just trying to go through here. Typically, you guys won't be involved in a decon on a true. And now you guys might be involved on decon like they got a chemical burn or something like that. You're rinsing it off. But on one of these large scale where hazmat is involved, you guys aren't going to do decon. You're going to be in the cold zone. A lot of this is you guys learn going through the chapter. Whole decontamination process. Receive 2 to 5 minute water rinse starting at the head. Makes sense, right? Why? Well, because all the water is going to go down, and you don't want to rinse the feet off, and then you get to the head and recontaminate your feet. Plus, the head's very important. MCI. So the general consensus is that you won't run an MCI out here, right? Yeah, you have you do have a chance of it. Ours are more school bus or weather related. That is our greatest chance of having an MCI. MCI basically is multiple casualty incident. And there's no definition on how many people it has to be for it to be an MCI. An MCI is classified as an incident that that taxes or goes beyond your resource capability. So out here, about 5 or 6 patients we're dealing with an MCI. We're bringing in other units from other areas. No local disaster, so MCI in operations, no local disaster plan. Ellen and I are just at a thing where they're working on a local disaster plan. The problem I have with these types of things, and I've said this there, was it does take some part of the citizen to be involved to truly develop a true plan. Because Alan Sy and Mike Galloway, who thinks he's the professional in everything, will come up with a great plan. But unless the citizens of Roger Mills County participate in that plan, the plan doesn't really matter. And so, and that's what I was trying to get. There has to be some personal accountability there. Exactly. So I like that they say it needs to be well publicized. It does. Everybody needs to know about it. It needs to be realistic. Is it realistic that we care for every single specialty needs patient in Roger Mills County, that we do that? No, it's realistic to expect that these patients have a backup plan or somebody to take care of them. We can't take care of everybody. Now, we could do a meeting place, or bring them here, or we could handle a few of these patients, but to handle all of them is unrealistic. That's what I was trying to get through to Mike. We can't be responsible for everybody, and to think that we are is asinine. And it needs to be rehearsed. You need to practice this. One thing that, I like Cy, really do. And I kind of like Mike, I guess. You need somebody in between Mike and Cy. Mike Galloway is over the top and everything. Cy is under the top. He's so just.
He doesn't include it.
I mean, he's a turtle. I mean, no, he does not. The important people in the whole plan he doesn't include. Kind of like the lady that comes out didn't even talk to EMS. It's like, you do realize that you need us in these situations, and if we're not part of your plan and stuff, then I don't know what to do. Incident command system, NIMS, sucks. I say that, but it really doesn't. NIMS is a good thing. And so NIMS actually come from the Murrow building bombing. So what you had in the Murrow building bombing was the first real kind of active domestic terrorism. And you had all these people responding from all these different agencies, and nobody had a way or anything to communicate with each other. Nobody to check in with, and it was just kind of a cluster. And so they started developing this NIMS. And what NIMS does is makes a common language for everybody that's responding to this disaster. Lets me know that I need to check in with the incident commander, and then they send me, let's say an ambulance is going to send me over to a different section, which I believe is the medical command. And then from there, and so everybody's reporting up, so everybody knows what everybody else is doing. It's actually good. I just hate their terminology because it gets confusing sometimes, and there's so much of it because it is built to be scalable. So it's built to go from very small incident to a large incident. So maybe like your Hurricane Katrina's, your things like that, where you have a huge, entire state is affected. So command, operations, logistic, planning, finance, single incident, and unified. Yeah, you even have a finance officer or whatever who is making sure that we have money to get the generators here, to get the food, to feed the people. It gets pretty in depth because it's also scalable in time. So it goes from these couple hour incidents to these multi-day, month incidents. So I will send you guys out the link if I can remember to. Blah, blah, blah. Scene size up. Yep. The first unit there is going to arrive at scene and establish incident command. For here, the general purpose is we have a multi-patient incident. The first unit on scene, and this is hard for my people to do and grasp, the first unit on scene, one is should be the last unit out, and they should be the one that is going to go around and triage each patient and then gets the most critical patients out first. Now, the cool thing about our service is we're not tied to or married to an ambulance. So if a paramedic gets there, we triage, and this patient's critical, needs ALS, and a BLS unit shows up, I can turn all that over to my people, and that's what I tell them. Guys, don't put it on just the paramedic because he needs to be the triage officer. Most likely, it probably should be a basic as triage. Everybody can triage. Paramedic's going to most likely be going with the most critical patient out first. So anyway, we'll go through a triage. It only takes a few seconds to triage a patient on these situations. So communications, organization, think big, order big, triage. Triage goal is to afford the greatest number of people the greatest chance of survival. The typical thing is we're going to do everything for our patient to help them survive. But in a triage situation or a multi-patient, we can't do that for everybody. We have to utilize our resources to do the greatest good for the greatest number of people, right? And so that person that maybe is over there not breathing, well, they're just going to remain not breathing because we don't have the resources to try to get them breathing again. Their chances of survival are very slim at best anyway. So, priority 1 is treatable, life-threatening illness or injuries. Priority 2, serious but not life-threatening illness or injury. And priority 3 is walking wounded. Priority 4, sometimes called priority 0, dead or fatally injured. We will use the national color system. Green is your walking wounded, yellow is your injured but not life-threatening, red is injured and life-threatening, and black is your dead or deceased. We're going to do start triage. You use a patient evaluation based on respirations, pulse, mental status. You give it a score, and it's RPM. I forget what the number is. There's a number you're looking at. So able to walk is a priority 3. Nose, check respirations. Only 3 treatments provided during start triage. Open an airway and insert an oropharyngeal airway. Apply pressure to bleeding and evaluate an extremity. So you're not going to tie yourself. You'll find in this. I don't remember if it's the start triage or jump start, but you'll actually attempt ventilation. If they don't start breathing on their own, they become a coast black. So assess respirations, breathing status first. Yes, and greater than 30 a minute. They're a priority 1. All right. They're breathing greater than 30 times a minute. So if you want to get the hell out of there and you're a patient and somebody's coming around, start breathing really fast. Okay. So it makes you priority 1. You're a critical patient. You're going to should go. Not really. So, yes, and less than 30 minutes. Check pulse. Assess respiration, breathing status first. No. Position airway, recheck respiration. Not breathing and attempts to open airway, does not start breathing. They're priority 0 or coke black, right? They're not going to start breathing on their own. Assess radial pulse, second. Unresponsive, not breathing, no pulse. 0. Breathing, no apparent pulse. What? Priority 1. Why? Because that pulse is so freaking faint you can't feel it. All right? They're not going to be breathing, and not if they're breathing, they have a pulse. Just faint, you can't feel it. Breathing, pulse good, skin signs, cap refill, check mental status. So assess level of conscious mental status 3rd. So alert is a priority 2. Alert, altered mental status is priority 1. So if they're confused, priority 1. We'll go over a little exercise whenever we on Tuesday. Now retriage the priority 3 walking wounded patients, respiration, pulse, mental status. So Color code patients with a triage tag. Priority 1's red, priority 2's yellow, priority 3's green, priority 4's black. A secondary triage is done at the patient collection site. So if you're there, and basically what happens is you have, first thing you're gonna do, let's say you have a bus wreck, and you're gonna set up your triage area. Anybody that get up and walk, I need you to go over to this area. That doesn't sound right, right? They're just doing this bad wreck. You're having them walk? Grade is good for the greatest number of people, right? Walking wounded, they're able to extricate themselves to this area. Okay, they're gone. Those are code green. Now we're triaging our patients. So we're checking the respiration. Are they greater than 30 minutes? Up, priority 1, they go to the code red. Now they're less than 30 minutes. We check a pulse. Oh, we have a pulse. Yay. And we feel it. Now we go down to mental status. They're confused. Priority 1. If they have a pulse, they're breathing, they're not confused, but they can't get up and move, we're triaging code yellow. So we put triage tag, put it on them, shows that they've been triaged. Some services will just carry 3 colors of duct tape. Duct tape on them, their code yellow duct tape on them, and they move on. So now whenever people are coming to help, they come up and they see the yellow, the red, and they're going to extricate all the red people out first, yellow or next. At that collection site, though, if you're at the collection and triage decision or the transport decision area, you're going to continue triaging your patients. So your code green, just because they're able to get up and walk, does that mean that they are stable patients? Not always, and it could be a bad way. And that's what you're going to do at that triage station. Oh, this patient, they could go all the way over to code red. If they stop breathing on you and you can't get it, you open up the airway and start breathing, well, they get to move to the black tarp. You don't want to be at the black tarp, all right? Black tarp's bad.
You know, your favorite color, don't go to it.
So,
That's what I was saying.
it is good if you have something like a bus wreck out here to let the receiving hospital know we are getting ready to send a lot of patients your way. That way they can get additional resources on their way. Yeah. And so here we will probably send them both to Cheyenne and Up City. Don't send them all to one hospital. They're crazy. I know they do. They're crazy. We're going to overwhelm their resources. That's granted. We have a bus wreck with 30 little kids on it. We're going to overwhelm them, especially if they have some injuries. We're going to overwhelm them. That's given. Let's divide the overwhelm them and overwhelm them. So, whenever we're doing this, whenever we're doing a mass casualty like this, it's good for the person that's at that triage area where they're shipping them out just to call Cheyenne. You're not going to be able to get a good report, all right? You probably have 2 patients on there. All you need to say is at this time we have 8 patients coming to your facility, and we have 8 code yellows coming to the facility or whatever. How you want to word that. So you're only getting basic information. So if they know their color system, they know that it's 8 patients that are have injuries, but they're not life-threatening injuries at this time. Now they're going to retriage. We're going to continue to retriage. Somebody that's a code yellow on transport might get there as a code red, and you need to relay that when they get there. So. If you think, if you are the first rescue vehicle to reach the scene of an incident, what should you do? you're going to establish incident command, right? And from that point, you can send one of your people, start triaging, and you're going to have one person stay at the ambulance as other units come in to direct them. So let's say the sheriff's department then gets there, turn over incident command. Hey, I'm going to go help him. Do you mind taking over incident command? We'll report back to you. We have triage vests on our ambulance. That way, whenever our units get there, they could go and they could talk to the triage officer. What do you have? I have 2 code yellows over here, and I have a code red over here, that type of thing. And we had one night where I had four reds, so rollover accident, and I had one dead. And so we had 4 aircraft involved on that. And it was a little confusing because I was brand new here, and so I'm trying to do the triage thing, and they're all confused by why I'm not staying with this patient and treating them. Can't. I have all of these patients. I need to get these other resources on here. I need to do the best good for the most amount of people. And so we did a little work on that after that, and I think we do pretty good. Chapter review, blah, blah, blah. Good job, guys. Perfect. What's 38?
Oh, you think
All right, so highway safety. Be visible on the highway. Whenever you get to a highway incident, we already said it once, pull out the ambulance should go past the incident on the other side of it. Wear your vest. Don't ever walk out in the road thinking people are going to stop for you. Make sure that you're always paying attention. Make sure that you're visible. If you guys are extricating out into the lane, make sure you have somebody watching both ways to make sure that the sheriff didn't accidentally send somebody through or whatever. I've driven through a few scenes myself where I've watched the rescuers just not even paying attention and walk right out in front of me. Now, if I was a normal looky-loo and I'm driving like this, I would fix that. Don't think they're going to see you. Don't count on that. Now, if they stop and they make eye contact with you and you wave at them and go, but don't just assume and walk out there. Try to load your patient in the back of the ambulance with some protection. Out here in rural America, sometimes we don't have any protection, but always be watching. Say anything else? All right. Finish up the chapter yourself. We're going to start labs on Tuesday. We'll start with the triage information. I'll also get you jump start triage, which is good for pediatric patients. And we'll just do a triage for the first hour and a half of class. And then we will, after that, we will talk about skill station, patient assessment. And so we'll start working on that. The rest of these chapters are new. The rest of these chapters won't have a lot of bearing on your national registry, but do them. To be done with this class, to get signed up to test, you need to have all 39 chapters done. You have to pass all chapters with at least an 80. You do have to have all 39 chapters done.
Your average is going to be
Well, okay, no. For me to sign you off, I want you to be I want your entire the entire average to be 75. If I need to open up tests, I will. I think you're above it, 75. I'm not worried about it.
I think my first chapter test because I was in the hotel room about 4
Let's do this. I will open up to retest all the chapters that everybody's done with. So you can go back and start taking this test if you want. I want you guys though to look at purchasing a test study program. They're usually about $30 a month-ish. That one that Dustin and Sarah talked about, I haven't looked at it. I think it's probably, what is it called?
I looked at it, and I was like, oh, do I really need to take that? It's the blue writing. It's the blue writing. You can just Google it and pull it up. That's it.
There are some practice tests out there. The problem is whenever you're looking at, hey, there's group discounts.
That one right there.
So you're looking at for 3 months, $70. A lot of these have like they get a hold of the old tests, so their tests are. Nobody cares about Skype. They let you. They give you a sample.
Yeah, he did a sample down there at the bottom.
There to take a demo test.
That's what we did.
Dang, that's pretty in depth.
Yeah. I don't know, did they said it wouldn't give us the answers? But it said,
This didn't do it.
It won't.
Practice is what you said they were saying, because they said that when you do it, if you miss one, I'd give you rationale.
I'm not reading all that. It's too long.
Then it'd be. Oh, quit.
That one was already answered for me. Okay. Why does nitroglycerin lower blood pressure? Dilate specialist. I'm not reading that. It's too long. What you think about?
You don't know it, Mark, see?
Huh.
we get 70%?
Yeah, I didn't guess the ones I just marked. I didn't get right. I almost guarantee it. So. I wish. So they tell you where to go and read about it. They do have rationale with regard to blood pressure, which is the following is true. I got it correct. Blood pressure is a direct effect. I wish I could give you the rationale why the wrong answer is the wrong answer. But this might be. And these, I'm going to tell you, I think these questions look a little harder than what National Registry is. Yeah,
That if you walk a thing, then it's better.
all the ones that I got all the ones that I actually read correct. The ones I just guessed on, I didn't. That would have been awesome if I actually read. So,
Well, you should. You've been doing it for how long?
day and a half. I highly recommend you guys do something like this, something that gives a rationale, and don't just get in the habit of what I have seen some people do. I've seen some people buy things like this and just do the practice test and don't read the rationale, don't read the correct answer and the rationale behind it. You learn a lot from the rationale. You learn why you missed it. And if you know why you missed it, you'll know how to fix it next time you take the test. And you won't, I promise you won't be able to just memorize test questions and answers and pass the National Registry test. It won't happen that way. It's an application test. You need to know why you're doing what you're doing. If you're able to do that, you'll be fine. Understand that people will tell you that, oh, there's more than one right answer. Well, there is. But there's one that is more right than the other, as in the fact that it's asking for you for the next step. This one's 3 steps down. This one's 2 steps down. The next step is the 2 steps down one, right? Not the 3 steps. And that's where knowing your check sheets will help you out immensely on National Registry. So I got to go help Jacqueline set up for a presentation. If anybody wants free pizza and cookies, go watch Alistair talk about medication safety for kids. So,
What's he doing now?
the pharmacy. So it's Generation RX is what it's called. So she's getting him involved in pharmacy. I think she probably wants him to be a pharmacist. I do not want him to be a paramedic. It's the worst job ever.
It's the worst job ever.
It's not. It's just dead end.
I didn't even put it.
Did I shut down? All right, I'm out of here, Serena. Oh, Serena's gone herself.